I want to begin by stating that this is not one of those goofy videos incessantly poking fun at some click-thirsty retard. Consider it more a reflective piece in response to perhaps one of the f***iest e-drama conflicts I've yet to be dragged into against my will. A sort of drama rape, if you will. I'd also like to warn those averse to hyper-pos response videos to maybe sit this one out. Finally, this is not in any way, shape or form any sort of takedown or hit piece. I'm simply giving my side of a really gay story I had no idea I was part of until last night.
There it is. Porsalin, old middle-of-the-road Porsalin.
Mike Shield, or Mersh, of the official Owen Benjamin After Show, was a guy I had become familiar with during my work on the Owen Benjamin documentary back in January. Back then I thought Mersh was, you know, this affable, funny guy and very welcoming host. So naturally I devoted a lot of my spare time to that corner of the internet, in efforts at getting my edge back. So it turns out there has been a growing trend of people who for one reason or another are not fans of Mersh. Lance and Thomas Daly are two of those very people, and given Mersh's recent proclivity for obsessing over much smaller channels who dislike him, the excitable pair saw an opportunity to have a little fun. Week after week, Mersh would bring up the likes of Don A, Unbleached, Rossdog, Ian Ellis, Merlin DeFango and Host Busters, responding in 40-minute tirades to the slightest of slight criticisms. Now bear in mind, these are channels with much smaller audiences who, I can only assume, are simply having a little innocent fun at Mersh's expense. And in addition, these far smaller channels, again I can only assume, perhaps see an opportunity to peel off viewers from Mersh's much larger platform, given the readiness of Mersh to address even the most passive of insults.
So look, I'm going to get this out of the way, because obviously, after continuously dealing with this issue for now 18 months. Obviously, you guys are seeing the little trolls coming in the chat, so I should address this. Apparently, Jesse from Pod Awful has it in his head, although I don't really believe that he believes this. He's a notorious pathological liar, but Jesse is putting it out there that I reported his channel for a video that, frankly, I've never even watched. I don't watch his show. I don't. People report things back to me, tell me what's being said. However, there's only so many hours in the day, and I'm not going to waste my time watching shows where people bash me for 4 hours a day, every day for 18 months. It's boring to me. The idea is boring, right? I've always been one of those guys, if people are talking shit about me somewhere, I just leave. I go somewhere else. I go somewhere where people aren't talking shit about me. I want to make things perfectly clear here. And I swear this on God and all that is holy. I swear it on everything I hold dear. That in the 18 months that this man has harassed me, has harassed family members of mine, has harassed old colleagues of mine, has run live background checks on me on his paywall show, where he has given out addresses I've lived, where he has, implied that, obviously for people to swat me and to harass me in real life. A guy that drove all the way to Ethan Ralph's house to be a fucking creep. What else has he done? He has, the doxing thing is mostly the most egregious one, but, and now I'm terrified. I'm terrified that people are going to find out that I live at 3215 Baird Avenue, apartment J66 in Lakeland, Florida, 33805. What am I going to do if people find out? The truth is that this guy has been harassing me for 18 months. And at any point, even in the doxing ones and all that shit, at any point, I could have flagged his channel. At any point. So it is extremely dishonest or stupid to believe that after 18 months of pretty much some of the worst harassment I've ever experienced in my life, an obsessive, psychotic, bizarre little bug man who has dedicated every moment of his fucking waking time on this planet into fucking with me. And in 18 months, I have never flagged him. So I ask, why would I do it now? Honestly, just ask yourself that question. And this is not to address the people that are propagating the bullshit because they're going to choose not to believe this shit. These people are now for 18 months, my hand to God, I have never, ever reported Jesse, Pot Awful, all the Philip Wave and the Ian Ellises and all these other guys. For 18 months, not one time have I flagged, nor have I encouraged people to flag. Any interaction I've had with people, it's always, oh, I should report him. And I go, don't report him. Reporting is gay. It's stupid, whatever. I have been taking punch after punch after punch after punch for about 18 months now. Just saying. Even off the air, I have been a fucking monk about this. I have been a saint. I have let people bash me for 18 months because I bash people for a living. It's what I do. As long as I don't carry it into my real life, I don't care.
Some big-time streamer guy wrapped up in a Kumeric rage towards one or two of the internet's most obscure trolls night after night after night after night. It became a sadistic game to these people, and for some reason Mersh was willfully playing along. But here's where his participation causes confusion. Mersh considers himself as one of the internet's giant-killing anti-heroes, punching up whilst taking down internet bad guys. Whether it's Gabe Hoffman, Owen Benjamin or Dan Schneider, Mersh was, for all intents and purposes, leader of the Terrorspurgs, a rugged internet gang of soccer mom boomers. So to devote so much of his show week in week out painfully reiterating that those poking fun at him have no subs, an ode perhaps to Anthony Cumia's obsession with sending trolls to obscurity, simply misses the mark. And in responding so enthusiastically to channels Mersh himself identifies as lacking any influence, only serves to play directly into their hands. After all, they're simply doing what Mersh did to Owen, punching up in hopes of peeling away support.
The first link is a thread about us on a website message board that is completely dedicated to doxing and harassing people on the internet. Kiwi Farms gained notoriety during the Christchurch massacre in New Zealand. The thread was originally started by a community of fans of a show called Pod Awful, hosted by Jesse Powell Shroud, and an English YouTuber by the name of Porsalin. In the thread, I even provided my own post showing the screenshots of them planning the thread on the website. These people are the ones behind our own doxing and publishing of our address. We have had attempts at swatting at our home as well, which you can confirm with Detective Kennedy of the Polk County Sheriff's Office here in Florida. You can contact them at... The Pod-Awful people are truly criminal sociopaths, and rumour has it they actually had a female in their fanbase trick a mentally challenged guy into sending her provocative pictures of himself that they released publicly. They are really messed up people. This second link is to a subreddit dedicated to similar things. Doxing and general harassment to myself as well as my family and girlfriend, all innocent people whose only sin is being involved with me. If I were a bettering man, I would put money that whoever is trying to pin Owen's incident on me is one of the frequent posters on this subreddit. I'm not very famous or well known, and there is a very short list of people who are this obsessed with me. Some of the more well-known names in that community are Alan Powell, no relation to Jesse PS, David Walsh, Thomas Daly, and Ian Ellis. Most of these people are failed YouTubers who see us as their enemy and are trying to make a name for themselves by destroying our lives. However, their obsession has deepened to a point where it's begun to manifest itself into criminal activity like doxing, swatting, and this most recent incident where they have apparently tried to doctor evidence of wrongdoing on my part. Here is a link to Alan Powell's Twitter account. I have also attached a screenshot of him stating explicitly that my sister and ex-girlfriends should be raped to teach me a lesson. I have also provided a screenshot of him confirming that it was him. You can see at first glance that this man's entire internet existence is dedicated to me. It's extremely disturbing. I believe Alan lives in California, but I got that information third hand, so its reliability may not be 100%.
If you're acting clownish, it's kind of hard not to barrel over laughing. If Mersh doesn't like something I say or do on the internet, my advice would be to quit seeking negativity and grow thicker skin. Ultimately, it's none of my business what he says and does, and honestly, this video aside, I wish the guy no ill will whatsoever. I did not take what he said personally, and even his baseless paranoia surrounding which camp of haters I belong to, or who I'm secretly plotting with, only serves to make me smuckle.
I gotta bonk you, man. I don't know what you're doing. You send a letter. By the way, stop speaking like you're fucking from a third world shithole. You send a letter to police about the Jesse.
What? Yes, I'm writing letters. I'm popping on my fucking typewriter. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. I'm firing off letters to fucking G. Gordon Liddy.
But again, none of this has anything to do with me, and lumping me in with those who hate Mersh is simply lazy, unproductive, and unnecessarily provocative. If I knew Mersh was about to unload this amount of passive-aggressive paranoia on last night's show, I'd have maybe stuck around. I could have set myself a quota every day to ensure I comment regularly on his shows. I could have stayed in his Discord server if it meant keeping the man happy. After all, I'm nothing if not a nice guy. Now, he can claim his comments were innocent and carefully chosen, but I'm not in the business of insulting my audience's intelligence. He was clearly associating me with the people who vehemently hate him, in efforts of aligning me with his perceived enemies. The hostile response from his chat supports that exact scenario. He made efforts to convince his viewers that I am a deserter, that I am a snake, that I have abandoned his community and have now joined the dreaded Legion of Spurgs. Again, with zero provocation from me.
You fucking... Hello, you write letter to police about the Jesse? Yeah, ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm writing letters to the Bureau of Federal Investigations.
Lying aside, it's clear what he's doing here. He doesn't want to be perceived as the bad guy and as such is frantically loading his bases. Ultimately, Mersh took each and every of his paranoid delusions directly to his show, and addressed countless falsehoods and manipulations to hundreds of his viewers. And again, it's important to reiterate I've literally not said or done a single thing to provoke such a dramatic overreaction from Mersh, although some would argue it's fairly in keeping with his recent Big Bear style antics. The fact that Mersh has invested any time whatsoever to working out where I might fit in the giant jigsaw of Mersh-hating pieces, despite my best efforts at reassuring the guy in direct messages, shows clearly he's on the wrong side of events. If Mersh wants to continue lifting rocks in efforts at seeking out every little thing somebody on the internet says about him, that's his obsessive prerogative. And even if he manages to find something, that doesn't mean there's some hateful conspiracy against him. In fact, it's far more likely people are simply having fun watching some guy frantically lift rocks. The longer Mersh sees this as some sort of hive-minded conspiracy where camps of naysayers are getting together to hurt him and his brand, the further away from reality he drifts. He said that I am very clearly on the side of people who are slandering me. So here's my final message to Mersh. Just try and imagine, if you will, Owen Benjamin saying those exact words. Fits pretty well, doesn't it?
Oh, steak. Steak. Pasta. Oh God. Hi there. It's my cheat day. I plan to do this. Listen, this Mersh diet, it still lasted longer than any of Mersh's actual diets. You at least got to give me that. I was already planning to break it next week anyway. Who cares? Stop looking at me. For the love of God, just stop looking at me. I'm ashamed. All right, listen, it's cheat day, okay? How was I supposed to not cover this? Let's go bully the internet. This is Pod Awful.
Pod Awful sucks.
The dark future is here, so get out of here. The internet is screwed from the space on the moon. Chasing bullies the goons. Pod Awful's watching you.
They're cyberbullying me to death.
Welcome, everybody. This is Pod Awful! And I am your host, Jesse. P.S. Thank you, one and all, for being here. Thank you for joining. We're live, as we are every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Pod Awful TV and Awful.2. We're also live on Wednesdays in the Pizza Fund over at podawful.pizza for our Primo episodes. I know people have been waiting to see the next Porsalin documentary for a long time. People have been wanting Porsalin to cover Mersh, and I happen to know he'd been secretly working on a doc this whole time. He gave me the go-ahead to put out his brand new Mersh doc. So there you go, everybody. We're going to welcome Porsalin on the show in just a little bit. I'm in the call-in section of our Discord, podawful.com/Discord. If Porsalin and Alan Powell will also be joining us tonight, our guests of honor tonight, Porsalin and Alan Powell, the apparently two of the other biggest problems in Mersh's life, these guys. So all they got to do is join the green room. If you're watching, join the green room in our Discord, and I'll drag you in just a second, get you in here. And if you guys want to say something, if you got any comments about this, we're going over the entire Mersh lawsuit too. This is incredible. I mean, how crazy is all of this stuff?
Pot awful one.
If you've got any comments on it, you can join our Discord and jump in the green room. I'll bring you in later in the show, and we'll let everybody have their piece. But we're going to go into this bit by bit. I absolutely was planning to keep my diet. I was done talking Mersh, and then this came out. This is actually technically old news. It's just new to us. This came out of nowhere. I see we've got Porsalin in here. Let's before I bring him in, let's check with the chat room, see what they're saying in there. We got the live chat every week here, folks. Let's take a look and see what they've got to say. Oh my God, this is so great. They're saying thank you so much. Wow, you really make me feel great when you say stuff like that. Jesse, you're a sociopath criminal and you need to be stopped. I think you should die. Well, thank you so much. Mersh gives, lol cow, lol suit. Jesse was cool with Mersh 2 years ago too, so F you, Spurgs. Now, this is great. This is actually probably going to be my favorite part of tonight. I didn't know this was going to happen. This is unplanned. We have a former Mersh simp. You want to talk about people cool with Mersh? We have a former Mersh simp in the chat room who, through the entire Porsalin doc, has been going, you guys need to stop covering fat lol cows and you need to rescue children. Because that's my job. Yeah, okay, I'll get right on that. Bex. This girl, Bex, she's a nightmare. Man, the Pod Off Their show tonight is going to be awesome. Okay, I'm going to be reading some hate mail in the Pod Off Their show tonight, and I think we need to get into this Bex woman. Hey, Bex, listen, I know it's tough. You work really hard at your 40-hour-a-week sales job, saving children, I'm sure. I'm sure all of those, lotions you sell to grandmas over the phone are really rescuing these kids. But my job is being retarded on the internet, so maybe you get paid to be that too. If so, you deserve a raise. Congratulations, Bex, everybody in the chat room. This bitch. This is a woman who used to watch every ROT. Every one of ROTC's listeners, Revenge of the Sis, Mersh. You guys know Mersh? Have you guys heard of Mersh? Porsalin, I'm going to bring you in just a second. I swear to God. But in case anybody doesn't know Mersh, I'll give you here's a little taste of Mersh.
Who's the big boy with the race car chair? Sleeping on the sofa and losing his hair, he destroys the cougars with his devastating wit, but the only hole he's getting is the Sarlacc pit. By his own admission, he's a gay vampire. He crushes up the bones and snorts them to get higher. His eyes are crossed, like, what? Yeah, he's short and squat and he spokes out a lot. Hollywood Mersh.
All right, that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about him. And also, he tried to arrest the internet for making fun of him. But he is not a lol cow. I need to repeat. This is very important to know about Mersh. Mersh, by his own admission, which I didn't even know you could do that. Mersh is not a lol cow. He swore hand on Bible, one finger just slightly off of the Bible, but the rest of the hand was kind of touching the withered hand on Bible. He said, I am not a lol cow. And so it's true. But despite that fact, we'll get into it. But this Bex bitch, I really like Bex because here's what she did. She used to be a Mersh simp. She'd watch every episode. All of their fans are 40 to 70-year-old women. I don't know why. Conservative 40 to 70-year-old women who still picture in their mind that they look good in a bathing suit. You know, they remember the day. And even when they did look good in a bathing suit, it was like that girl who smoked a little too much and she's an Ohio 10, which anywhere else is a 3. She's an Ohio 10. She smokes a little bit too much. And she remembers herself that way. Now she's 50 years old and she really needs Twitter to know about her conservative values. And she's out there rescuing children from John Podesta. So I guess she was drawn to Mersh ROTC because they used to pretend to be against pedos. You know, I can't talk too much about this. You guys know how Susan feels about this. But I used to engage with the paranormal. I used to be a paranormal investigator, and I used to find these people, hunt them down, and bring them to justice. And YouTube said, you're not allowed to do that. So I kind of stopped. Mersh, he used to cover this guy, Dan Schneider, and he pretends that he's the one who uncovered that Dan Schneider was a paranormal guy. And, which is incredible. Like, Royce and Mersh, they went over to 4chan and they just read 4chan on their show and said, this is our stuff. We thought of this. They went over to Kiwi Farms, ooh, irony of all ironies, and said, this is our stuff. We invented this. And Bex lapped it up like every fucking retard woman out there. She bought into it. It wasn't back then. ROTC wasn't a comedy show. It was just an alt-right hug fest, which is cool. That's a cool type of show to have. But, you know, that was the type of guy.
Call me a pedophile and dox my address.
Yeah, that's what he did to Dan Schneider. He called him a pedophile, and then he doxed his address. And so it brought in all these fans of theirs. And I guess Bex is one of those people. And then one day, I guess Bex wasn't kicking up the checks to Mersh often enough. You know, she wasn't getting affected often enough to Mersh. So he started talking shit about her. And she decided in that moment that she was no longer a fan of ROTC. She's now a fan of Pod Awful. But a very fair weather friend. I've seen her like once or twice in her chat. She showed up again now that Pod Awful season, dark future, by the way. Now that we're in the dark future, she showed up again and she left this nice comment like, oh, this is so great. I'm glad you're in your show and oh, fuck Mersh. You know, it's always fuck Mersh. Like she's only here to say fuck Mersh. Which I guess a lot of people think this show is just fuck Mersh, but I'm just laughing at a silly man. Look at him. He's rotund. Isn't it precious? Isn't it precious? The way he waddles. And then the second it's not about her, she's like, fuck this. It's psycho. So to be honest, Bex, if anything, you're putting me on the side of Mersh. And she says that, you know, there's some people that say you used to be a mod for Mersh. You were best friends with him. I don't know if you've ever looked in any of the Mersh effectors or Mersh's chat room. Anybody with even the slightest name is given a wrench. I don't get to get rid of it. He gives you a wrench, and then you're like, okay, do you think I was sitting there moderating for him? I'll tell you what I did. And this is true. This is even before I met up with Mersh in New York. I would just time out his most active, probably Bex herself. I would time people out in his chat room all the time and just not say anything. And everybody assumed I was doing a good job moderating back then because back then I was more famous, E-famous. I was an E-celeb compared to Mersh. So they were like, well, Jesse must have done the right thing. Meanwhile, I was really using that wrench to just get rid of all of his fans because they annoyed me and they're stupid. Hence, Bex. We're going to get into Bex later. Let's get Porsalin and Alan Powell into the chat here tonight. Podawful.com/Discord. Bring these fellers in. There they are. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're a little low, so I just had to turn you.
All right, yeah, turn me up. Yeah, there's something about Discord. They don't like my setup here. But welcome, guys. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to
Hello.
bring you in here on it's such a concerning thing that's going on because I don't know if you guys realize this, but over a year ago, we were about to be arrested for crimes against the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking out my window ever since I saw the email, to be honest.
Now,
I don't,
go ahead, Porcelain.
I was just saying I haven't been outside in like 3 days.
It's scary. Every time it's like that scene in Goodfellas where the choppers above him. I had to drive to the grocery store. And I'm like, holy fucking shit! Ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be an internet spurg. So, Alan, let me ask you something, buddy. I think you were the first guy I know of to be super critical of Mersh and kind of make fun of him. But you also, were you an ROTC fan? Because I don't know your backstory.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily, because people say fan and, it implies fanatic.
Yeah.
I did watch them, but I was never like one of their, I was never a part of the Mersh effect. I thought that was all cringe.
What brought you over to them? Was it like an Owen Benjamin thing? What did it?
Yeah, they're also making fun of Owen.
Okay, and you don't like Owen, right?
I was making fun of him as well, yeah.
So that kind of brought you guys together, and I think that's how they got a lot of their fans. Is it any surprise to you then to see that Mersh, and I think this was true over a year ago, but now I think it's more confirmed than ever. Either of you can answer this. Is it any surprise that Mersh has fully become Owen Benjamin?
Not really, because the makings were already there. It blossomed and bloomed into a full Owen effect. Actually, maybe even worse.
Porsalin, you famously did a whole documentary on Owen, and so you must have been able to see the signs there early on, because you were kind of friends with Mersh. I mean, as internet-y friends go.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and you sort of come from a similar sort of background when it comes to this stuff. That I keep thinking back to that of was I just deluded and I didn't see the signs, or was it that he was sucking our dicks hard enough that we kind of let some things slide, or what, or was it a case that he actually did just progressively get worse and worse and worse? And I think it is a mixture of all three, but definitely more the latter than any of the others. I think that I compare the sort of behavior I see now and compare that to, he just seemed a more humble, a more, self-aware kind of guy back in the day, so to speak. But it's a strange one to become the thing that you are, that you are making so much fun of, and that you've basically like piggybacked your brand off.
I mean, this is an obvious fear for a guy like me. Like every time I make fun of one of these people, usually one of the first things I do is just become them. The first time I fully just outright, people think the first time I made fun of Mersh was when I did that parody of them. And I guess that was the most obvious time. I had done it before then. But my first outings with a lot of these, goons, lolcows, whatever you want to call them, is usually to just climb inside their skin and act like them. And I had started to suspect something was wrong, like when I first met with him, I started to suspect. Then when you, Porsalin, and Mersh had your falling out, I was like, okay, this doesn't feel good. Something's not right about that, because I feel like Porsalin did nothing. And then, and of course, that was all based on what you very clearly stated was a misunderstanding, and you continued saying, I have no problem with you, Mersh. I don't understand this.
Right.
And Mersh's reply to that was, you know what? Fuck you. Give me money, lick my balls, or else you're out of the club. And obviously, that hurt you greatly. You are now basically a nobody on the internet, and Mersh wins.
Yeah, he big daddied me.
And, he big dick daddy.
I'm always going to be big dick daddy.
He's always going to be big dick daddy to you. So yes, and now you're in obscurity.
Foolish me, yeah.
So I started, that's where the cracks really showed for me. I mean, he was a goofy guy, but I'm a goofy guy. Everybody on the internet's kind of a goofy guy, whatever. But then when I did that parody, I really thought you can make fun of Mersh and he'll be fine. I didn't think it would be a partnership or whatever. I don't know what you even call it. I'm not fucking friends with Mersh. I'm not friends with you guys. I like Porsalin. I like Alan. They seem like swell fellas.
You're hurting my feelings.
I don't even know what Porsalin goddamn looks like. Okay? Now, I do know your real name. You were doxxed. I don't know if you know this, Porsalin.
No, I mean, the cat has been long out of the bag. when it comes to that. It's something that, you know, I don't try and broadcast it like Mersh. I don't sit there and try and kind of jump on it
right,
and give out my address freely to everybody. But, you know, I mean, anybody motivated enough could absolutely.
From what I understand, though, Porsalin, you for a time, and this was Mersh's big win against you, you left the internet because you're a pedophile.
Yeah.
So
call me a pedophile and dox my address.
What happened with that exactly? Because I know the comments.
Turns out that
the comments are going to talk about
this. And doing this YouTube thing, that they don't really go very well. So yeah, it's a mistake that I'll definitely learn from.
Oh, okay, so what you're saying is you are a pedo.
What it was, Owen at the time where I was getting ready to sort of create the second follow-up to the Owen documentary,
right?
And it was also at a time when I was moving down south and, you know, getting a new job and all that kind of stuff.
Alabama.
So it was a really kind of it was a bit of a hectic time in my personal life and stuff. And when I released a little sort of teaser trailer for it, and then obviously people linked that to Owen. Owen then did the thing that Owen does with everybody, where he calls them a pedophile, and he did this thing where he's like, "Oh, you know, I've had people tracking him, and he's got sex crimes and all this kind of stuff." And then me thinking like, okay, well, I'll get ahead of this. My new job had literally just sent me a what's those reports for like a criminal background check.
Mm-hmm.
So they just sent me that because they had to clear me for this particular job that I'm still doing now, and I got a copy myself in the mail. So I figured, all right, you know, if this is quite convenient, I'll take a picture of this and upload it, and kind of you know, it's completely clean. But yeah, you know, that didn't really stop Mersh and his fans from co-opting Owen's ridiculous, insane accusations and counting that as a win for the whole thing was kind of bananas. Really.
You thought the best way to fight which, by the way, getting called a pedo based on zero is like the last vestige of an uncreative retard on the internet. You're a pedo. Yeah. Like, okay, yeah, sure.
I think he specifically called me a convicted rapist.
Oh,
I don't know if he actually said pedo.
Somehow that's been warped.
Rapist.
I only even ask you this because I know the comments are going to say it, but somehow it's been warped. Every time I bring you up or you're on the show or something, somebody says like, what happened with Porsalin? They always ask me like, let's be clear, and Alan, jump in on this. We don't talk to each other. We're not friends. We're not hanging out. We're not going to a bar. You know, occasionally I shoot a message to one of these guys and say, hey, how about this for a bit on a show? They might say something to me, you know, whatever. I might get a question. We're not sitting around trading war stories or anything. I don't know about Porsalin's life in any way. Now, Alan... You and I know each other very closely because we are related.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know the document that we're about to go over here. It did dox me. People didn't know. I had been hiding for years what the PS in Jesse PS stood for. It was my biggest secret, my secret identity. And I didn't want anybody to know. And now, Mersh actually got something wrong in the document. But, Alan, I think we can reveal that you and I are cousins, right?
Yep.
And I will see you at the next family reunion where we will plan the demise of Mersh. We have weaponry that we've been getting together. We plan to kill him. Is that right?
Yep, like full criminal sociopath.
Full criminal sociopath stuff. He is going to die by our hands. We're going to cut off his face. We're going to lick the inside of it. We're going to clean the blood out of it with our tongues. And of course, just to be clear, I'm only saying this because I want to note before we get into this letter that he sent, that one person was not included. That seems like maybe they should have been in this document. I haven't seen anybody else point this out yet. But you guys heard of Red Bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, all I do is suck your dick and eat your butt.
So Red Bar, I seem to remember one time, and Mersh played this on his show. One time Red Bar spent about, I want to say what felt like 2 hours of his show, which, to be fair, is only 1% of his show. But I believe he spent about 2 hours one time detailing how he was going to meticulously murder and cut and rape Mersh. This is a real bit. I don't know if somebody's got that link and wants to post it in the chat or in show discussion in Discord or something. I'd be happy to
said
play.
something along the lines of cut him up to little bits.
Yeah, cut him up into little bits, rape his skin, put bugs inside his eyes. I don't know what he said. He said a bunch of stuff. I vaguely remember this. And somehow, Red Bar did not get reported to be arrested on the internet for jokes. So, in my mind, that means one of two things. And tell me which one it is. I don't know. Either, are you taking a piss? Alan, are you just pissing right now?
No, I'm pouring some fine Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay. Well, cheers, of course, and thank you very much. Our sponsor, Dr. Pepper. But it means one of two things in my mind. Either, this is speculation, either Mersh understands what a joke is and chooses who is allowed to say them about him and who isn't, or Mersh has some sort of gay affinity to Mike David, or perhaps even feared him finding this type of info that we've now found, this report, and did not want any sort of backlash coming back his way, thought that we would not be able to find this out and do it. I don't know. What do you think it is? What is the difference between Red Bar and you, Porsalin, or me, or Alan, or any of the other people named in this document?
I have no idea. I really don't know, because you could say that Red Bar is this kind of, maybe it's familiarity. Maybe that Mersh knows Red Bar. He's watched Red Bar for a long, long time, and and maybe
I gotta stop you there, because what Mersh has said before that he and Red Bar go way back and they're friends. He and Mike David are friends. Did you know that Mersh said that?
I had no idea he said that.
Mersh one time said, this is 100% real, you can find this. Mersh one time said that he and Red Bar, they're friends. Now, I actually asked Mike David about this. I said, is this true? You guys are friends? And he seemed to not agree with that. And as far as, to put it mildly, he seemed to think that was strange. And I also seem to think that maybe, just maybe, Mersh hadn't actually ever even heard of Red Bar until, I don't know, right before Revenge of the Sith started. Seemed like the first time he'd ever checked them out. Maybe back when he was first trying to peddle his shitty podcast on people and needed other people's groups to do it too. I might know about this firsthand, because maybe that exact thing happened to me with him. So I maybe it's because they're such old buddies. But if your idea is that he understands Red Bar is joking around more than he understands you or I are joking, I've actually met with Mersh in real life. I called him a fat guy to his face. I pretended to squeeze his titties. I named him Hollywood Mersh. All of this happened in real life, and somehow he didn't feel the need to call the police, and I was right there. I mean, I could have been arrested on the spot for my horrible sociopathic criminal activity of making fun of him. So I don't know. I just kind of want to argue with you on that one. I don't think that's it.
No, I mean, you could be right. I've absolutely no idea.
Okay.
It seems like a complete conflict. It seems like there's preferential treatment there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some level of preferential treatment for sure. I'm not sure what it is. All right. So
I tell you what I think it is, actually.
Okay.
I think it's that with me and you in particular, there's a level of betrayal and a level of personal animosity there that doesn't necessarily exist with Red Bar. I think Red Bar, he's never really gotten close with Mersh. They've never really been in cahoots. And I think with me and you, that adds a bit of spice to it. Maybe that's not it, but maybe it adds a little bit to it. Perhaps.
I actually think you might be 100% right with that. There was always that sting of betrayal when it came to you and I. And Alan, I'm sure, he's seen it with you as well. I don't know about some of these other people in this message, but I think maybe he just wanted to punish them for going against the big dick night daddy. But I'm
I remember
pretty sure.
all Thomas Daly did was stream about 4 times, repeating that Mersh is a pedophile over and over again. That was literally the content.
Okay, well, and again, you know my opinion on that. So let's take a look at this. This again, I have to be clear. This is from April 4th, 2020. So we're just now finding out about this. This is the hot off the presses. I don't know. Do we know what the story is? Like, why did this get found? What is this?
I
think. Sorry, Alan. Do you want to jump ahead?
Go ahead.
Well, I spoke to the douche nozzle guy on Reddit, and
just to be clear, you're not passing judgment. That's his name on Reddit. I'm sure he's a great guy. Seems fine.
Yeah, that wasn't descriptive. No, that was his name. Yeah. He said that it wasn't actually him that requested the FOIA information. It was actually a Discord server, a GSK Discord server. He did give me the name of the guy that he thinks actually did request it, and I will grab that now.
What is GSK? I don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I just assumed it was something to
Gamma
do with
Secret
these
Kings.
Oh, I see. Gamma Secret Kings. Okay, that makes sense. So this is all Owen based, from what I understand. Mersh didn't actually, let's be clear about something. Mersh did not actually just contact the police on his own. This has to do with Owen Benjamin and Owen Benjamin contacting the police. Owen Benjamin went to the police about being harassed, right, Alan? So you probably know a little bit more about this. Let me just say, as far as we can tell, and you can FOIA request this too if you don't believe. If you're Arnold Nicotina, who's sitting there going, "My God, Mersh, I can't believe it. I've given you too much money to believe you would do something this gay." If you're sitting there, poor Findom Arnold Nicotina. Poor this idiot, this dirty-faced retard has been sitting there kicking up the bucks, just like he's told to, being a good spurg, and now he sees this. And you know, I've even seen there's Mersh guys in the chat room right now, okay? Former Mersh guys, current Mersh guys, there's people in there who are seeing this and will be coming up with, Porsalin, I think you tried to preempt this yourself. They're going to come up with every excuse as to why this is either not real or okay. And I want you to please make those excuses. I'm begging you to. Arnold Nicotina on Twitter for the past few days now has been absolutely 100% denying that this is real. He says, I made this up. Maybe Alan is behind this. He got confused that we had somebody in my Discord that wasn't Alan, that wasn't Porsalin. I can tell you the guy's name in Discord. His name is SCIAL. That's his name. Steven Crowder is a liar. That's his name in Discord. And he was in Mersh's chat the other night trying to bring this up, and he was pretending to be the detective involved in this case. And he was doing his detective work in there. It was a bit. We were just watching Nightwave in Discord, making fun of Mersh for all this stuff, and some guy made fun of him. Poor, stupid, dirty, Cheeto-faced Arnold Nicotina, sitting there working his ass off to make sure Mersh can eat. While his own family starves, he's making sure that Mersh can live another day to steal another cat from a gas station. Poor Arnold Nicotina, he can't believe this, to a point where he convinced himself that because somebody pretended to be someone from this email, that the email isn't real. So I beg you to do your own FOIA request on this. I beg you to look into this. You can message the detective from this. I don't care. That's your business. You can message Mersh and ask him. I would love for you to do that. Ask Mersh if he did it. I would love to see Mersh say that this isn't real. Because, Porsalin, I think you looked into this. This is real, right? It's like pretty much 100% confirmed this is real. Did I lose you? Where'd you go? Alan, are you still there?
There I am.
Okay,
sorry,
there
yeah.
Okay.
I gave my XLL code a bit of a wiggle there. Yeah, I'm 100%.
Don't tell me what you're
I'm not going to say.
doing
I'm not going
under
to say
the
I've
table.
confirmed it, but I'm 100% sure it's real.
Can you please keep it to yourself when you're giving your XLR a wiggle? That's disgusting. Okay.
Yeah, my bad. That was bad phrasing.
Alan, this is real, right? This is real. We can just say it's real.
It was real until someone redacted the names. That invalidates the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is about that. Just to jump in,
okay.
I don't know if you're probably about. I'm probably about to like completely jump in and ruin what you're about to say, but
Go ahead.
I mean that was actually Douche Nozzle that redacted everything.
Right. He did it because you can't post this stuff on Reddit without doing it.
Yeah.
This wasn't redacted at any of that. We didn't know this existed. Like Porsalin and I think Alan all learned about this about the same minute. Or one of you guys, I think, posted it in my Discord. And then I didn't know about it. Like, this wasn't done at our behest, at anybody in the thing's behest. This wasn't done in the original document is uncensored. He had to censor it to post it to Reddit because otherwise you can be banned from Reddit for doxing people, even though most of this stuff is not dox. I don't think any of it is, to be honest. A detective's phone number or email is that's not private information. They're a detective. Names are not doxing. Like, I'm sure Porcelain doesn't want his name out there, but technically speaking, it ain't doxing.
No.
So yeah, we don't, that's the only reason that this is redacted in any way. All right. So this is April 4th, 2020, which is my favorite part of this, I think, is this is a couple of months. Like, when did I make fun of Mersh the first time? November, I think. So November, December, January, February, March, April. So 5 months into making fun of Mersh, here's what I had made fun of thus far that he is now wanting us to be arrested over. I did a parody of him. I made fun of the Matt Christensen episode that everybody said was bad. His whole audience said that was terrible. They took the L on that one. I made fun of an appearance that he and Royce did on Gas Digital, and I did a blackface version of ROTC. That's it. In fact, in that time, in that 5 months, I even had a day, and people hated me for this, where I said, don't make fun of ROTC because one of Mersh's friends had died. I said, we're going to give him 24 hours, no bullying. That's it. So all of the stuff that, at least as far as Pod Awful goes, that people think of as being like me bullying Mersh, hadn't happened yet. Mersh was so hurt by the parody. He was so hurt by the Matt Christensen thing. He was so hurt by me revealing that Royce bought Twitter subscribers. And he was so hurt by me pretending to be a black version of him. Because, which, by the way, is the worst thing you can do to a wigger, is to act as though he is not already black. As if the parody is being a black version. No. Mersh is black. He's in The Wire. So all of this stuff is before this is before triangle penis. This is before,
oh my God, I have bonitis.
It's before any of the Bones stuff. It's before him wanting to literally kill me.
I'm going to literally kill you.
It's before all of that. It's before Andy Worski gets involved. It's before any of his huge embarrassments on the Kill stream or Bake the Last. Any of this stuff. April 4th, 2020. Just setting the scene. Let's take a look. Records, can you attach the email? So here's an email from Mersh. It says, the first link is a thread about us on a website message board that is completely dedicated to doxing and harassing people on the internet. This line kills me. Kiwi Farms gained notoriety during the Christchurch massacre in New Zealand. So right off the bat.
Unbelievable.
It's shameless. It is so shameless what he's doing right off the bat. And this is, by the way, I know this behavior all too well because this is lawsuit behavior. This is exactly what Maddox did to Dick Masterson, which I always said, what he did was the stupidest thing. That lawsuit was so dumb. And yes, I was involved with it. But for a personal reason, I wanted to shit on Asterios Kokonos, who basically is the guy who led to my Patreon being taken down, him and Dick. So fuck Dick, fuck Asterios. I got involved with that whole thing. But I always said from the beginning, Maddox, I said it too, Maddox, you can't have people sued because they said you're silly or bald on the internet. And Maddox would do this thing where he would take like these tiny little inferences or these little connections that come out of nowhere that don't really apply, and he would try to bolster his case by using them. Mersh loves this fucking method. Anytime you've seen Mersh list the things, that video I played at the beginning, when Mersh is listing all the stuff that I've done to him, he included in that me going to Ethan Ralph's house. That doesn't have anything to do with you, Mersh. How does me going to Ethan Ralph's house affect you? But he needed an extra thing. I've never done that to Mersh. So instead, I did it to Ethan Ralph, and thus Mersh he's got damages. He needs money. He needs me to be swatted. And just to be clear, Alan, have you ever had Mersh or Royce swatted?
No, I've never even called. Why would I contact law enforcement against them? I see them as lolcows. I don't want to ruin that.
Exactly. And Porsalin, I really doubt you would do. I mean, Alan is a deranged psychopath. This guy, maybe he would. But Porsalin, I feel like you're probably not figuring out a way to contact American police about these people.
Well, not yet, but I mean...
we're getting there. It might have to happen.
No. Well, I also think that the whole reason for him bringing up the Ethan Ralph stuff is because he knows that there's really nothing on you as far as doxing goes. He doxed himself, and so he needs some kind of doxing evidence to add to his catalog of nonsense.
Of course, but this thing about Kiwi Farms gained notoriety so he wants to get the word massacre in there. That's like, you're a police officer, you see the word massacre, your ears perk up, And I have to be clear, Mersh is talking to police officers not in Florida, where he lives. He's talking to where does Owen Benjamin live? Where are these people at?
At the time, it was Kitsap County.
And where, I don't know where that is. Where is that?
It's close to
this. Kitsap is this their precinct. They are Kitsap.
Yeah, but what state? I'm asking what state.
Oh, Washington.
Wait, Washington. So this is the exact opposite side of the nation from Mersh. And he's hoping that police on the furthest point in the continental U.S. from himself will somehow arrest me at the time, was this New York? No, I don't know where I was at this time, but me wherever I'm at, Porsalin in the UK, Alan, who I believe is constantly driving around at top speed down every road. I don't know where Alan is. When you write Alan Powell a letter, you have to put it to no fixed address. That's how he gets his mail. So
he just put his car registration on the letter.
This is insane. And he's going, okay, how do I get their attention? They're asking me about a case against Owen. Owen said I did this. Well, rather than say just nuh-uh and then leave it at that, rather than say Owen is saying people need to be arrested for being bullied on the internet, that's gay. Bye. I'm never responding to this. Instead, Mersh looked at the email he got from the detective and went, I need to become Owen Benjamin. What if I do? Here's a great idea. Mersh took a big swig of turpentine and went, let's see where this goes. And he rubbed his hands together, and he probably already was doing that, Mersh. And he just went for it. And he said, okay, I need something. What will get their attention? Oh, I know. A mass shooting, a hate crime. Now, was I involved in a mass shooting? No. Shit. Do I enjoy it when a mass shooting happens to a mosque? Yes, I do. I'm alt-right. But can I use this somehow in my favor? Well, let's find out. And then he hunted and pecked with individual fingers. For this took him over an hour to write. Mersh is illiterate, so this was a real tough one for him. And it is so funny to say that the thing that Kiwi Farms is notable for is a shooting in New Zealand. I don't even know what is the connection there. Is there anything?
No, I mean it's a hot button topic, isn't it? Extremism, right? Far right extremism. He knows that they're going to take the email seriously if he plants one far right seed.
Had that like just happened then? I don't even remember when the Christchurch massacre
No, it was a year before that. It was a year before that.
I think he's just trying to be like, hey, these guys are alt-right, they're crazy lunatics, insurrectionists.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, this is before our nation was attacked. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember the worst attack on U.S. soil, Jan 6. Jan 6, the Christchurch massacre was sort of New Zealand's Jan 6, where so many lives were lost. And Mersh absolutely did not support it and then flop back on it. Mersh absolutely never played the Christchurch massacre footage anywhere. He never viewed it. He knows it's illegal to look at it. Is it illegal in the UK to look at it, Porsalin?
I don't know. I know it's probably illegal to have shared it, but I have no idea.
God,
our laws are all over, constantly changing.
It sucks being British. So... That's so crazy. You can't. Do you have a license to share that?
No, it's bad. It's bad. I've got no defense on it really.
Send a letter to your queen. Okay. Here's what I would like you to do. Write up your queen. Send it to old Buckingham.
Dear Queenie.
Send it to Buckingham. Where does she live? Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
Okay. Send it there. Or does she live inside Big Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, send it wherever she lives. And the London Eye, I don't know where she's at. Send her a letter.
I can deliver it to her.
Alan drives so fucking fast he can go over the water. Send her a letter and say, listen, Queen, can I get one exception to share this Christchurch massacre? And what I'd like you to do is just send it to the detectives that Mersh sent this email to and say, here's proof that I harassed Mersh. Maybe edit
here's the smoking gun.
Maybe edit in Mersh's face on every Muslim guy in there, the lady who's laid out in the street that he runs his car over. Just put Mersh
every
down
time
there.
You shoot one, you get the audio of you really trying to do that right now.
You trying to do that right now?
Bones to make us feel good.
All other bone fragments in the future, please, to me. I just need.
I'm going to literally kill you.
Okay, so this is the greatest part in all of this is Mersh used to love Kiwi Farms, and then somebody made a Kiwi Farms about Mersh, and he said there's a clip of him out there somewhere where Mersh one time said, "It's gonna suck when Kiwi Farms comes after us because these guys are relentless." And sure enough, I know now, Porsalin, own up. You did attempt to make a Mersh ROTC Kiwi Farms thread.
Mm-hmm.
And you same fagged.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No one's ever done that before.
This is not, Mersh certainly has
Fake it till you make it.
Mersh has certainly never had multiple accounts where he's hyping up himself as if he's a different guy. So Porsalin did try to do it, but from what I understand, and there's evidence of it, I mean, you can still see it. You made a thread on there about them, and it failed because nobody knew who they were and nobody gave a fuck. Right.
It was also really badly. I didn't know the formatting
of
Kiwi Farms, and they're very on that.
Okay, so clearly not an actual Kiwi Farms guy. Then somebody else made a thread on him, and that one stuck, and that was later on. But I'm going to guess you did not even have their docs to post it. Is that true?
I didn't have Mersh's docs? Or?
Yeah, like their address and phone number and all that.
I've never had it until he gave it out. Like I didn't even have it in where he was. I didn't even know where he lived with Royce.
Okay.
I have no idea, but I never really went into that. But
you could actually
now I know because he told me.
You know what my favorite part about, I didn't know where they lived either. And I found it out from Kiwi Farms, but this letter is going to say that I'm the one who posted it. And when I found it out from Kiwi Farms, I found out that, I mean, it's out there now. I found out that Royce lives in a place in Florida called Davenport, which is, of course, another word for couch. And I don't know if I've ever had a more fun time. There's no two greater things on this earth than Mersh lived in a place called Davenport, and also Mersh's last name, Sheely, in German means cross-eyed.
No.
Yes, it does. Look that up. Google it. I swear to God, it does. Look that up. Somebody.
That can't be true.
I'll do it right now. I will fucking. All right, let me go to Google Translate and let me do it to German, please. No, okay, fine. Let's do Sheely. And no, that's not English. Come on. German. That starts with a J? No. It means, apparently it means squint. Is what this is.
I mean,
saying.
anything eye related.
Anything eye related. Oh, no, it says squint or to be cross-eyed. It says it right here. I'll show it to you. Here you go. Look at this. This is 100% real. Folks, try it at home. Do whatever you want to do here. Here it is. Sheely. It says squint over there. But then if you scroll down, it says be cross-eyed. It's Sheelin. So Sheely is
That's close enough.
It's close enough. That's horseshoes, baby. All right, so let's keep going with this thing. And so now Mersh has been talked about by Josh Moon from Kiwi Farms. People want me to bring this up. I haven't actually watched it, but he on his show Mad at the Internet, which is a really cool name for his show. Josh Moon, the owner of Kiwi Farms, finally talked about Mersh. So technically speaking, I didn't need anybody to tell me. When I officially declared Mersh as a lol cow of the internet, not just a goon of this show, but a lol cow. I didn't need somebody else to plant the crown on his head. But for those of you out there who care, and I saw a post on the Kiwi Farms thread for Mersh saying that I must be tagging Kiwi Farms in my tweets because I want to be noticed by Josh Moon. I tagged him because I thought he'd be interested in seeing this. I don't give a shit. If I say somebody's a lol cow, they're a lol cow. But for those of you who care, Mersh is officially, according to Kiwi Farms, a lol cow. It's done.
Congrats.
I got excited, very excited to see all of this.
So this is, a banner day for us. Somebody said Mersh is now a blue ribbon cow. Let's take a look. It says, the thread was originally started by a community of fans of a show called Pod Awful, baby.
I'm Tom Gully, and you're watching Is This Live, the show on the Pod Awful TV network, podawful.pizza.
Hosted by Jesse, and this is what the cool thing about this is, everybody who's been reading this on their own shows, who's that guy, lisping guy, chimpanzee? He streams in a closet. What's his name? What's that guy's name? The
Goku something.
Goku 78 or whatever his name is. He was reading this. Josh Moon was reading this. They said they had to say Jesse PS because of the way that my name is blacked out here. I just want to be clear about this. My name ain't secret. It's never been secret. I have a level. There's a shirt I sell that says my last name is Powell Stroud. That's a difficult last name. It is gay and hyphenated. I honestly should have aborted my own mother for hyphenating my last name, because that's what you do if you're born in Brooklyn. If you've got, I don't even know I have no clue why my parents did that. It's an unwieldy last name. And so I just started saying PS because no one ever understood it when I said Powell Stroud. I sell a shirt that says Stroud Boys on it. It ain't a secret. But there's people out there now who think, finally, we've got his docs. It's been out there. I'm not Mersh. I didn't ever feel the need to come on here and go, actually, you can go to 3215 Baird Avenue. Come to my house and see if I care, after spending 18 months. Say it with me, everybody. 18 months complaining about being doxxed to then just dox yourself online. I never really cared about this, but I do want to get into a little bit of hate mail. This is something we're going to be doing on the show now. I realized at a certain point that that I'm trying to make people mad on the internet, so I should probably on the show go over when I do. Somebody left me and I'm sure this has happened, Porsalin, to you before. Alan, you just go by your name. You don't give a fuck. Did you ever go by a fake name?
No. Sometimes I'll add things on TN just to mess with someone that's already a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I always stick to my real name.
Alan's YouTube name is always changing. It's psycho. But he's one of these criminal sociopaths. This guy can't be trusted. Alan Powell he's got an arsenal, and I believe he keeps it in. I think he's got twisted metal car where machine guns pop up from the hood and stuff. It's terrifying what he's up to. I got this hate mail in a YouTube comment section that had nothing to do with any of this. I just left it, I put a comment up there saying, here's how you subscribe to the Pizza Fund. And a guy left a comment saying, Jesse Powell Stroud. And I was very confused by that. I was like, well, yes, indeed, I am. Hello. So I said, what? And this guy said, thank Kyle. And I had to figure out what that meant. I was like, Kyle, who is that? It turns out it's this guy, Chimpanzee, who I think what he does is when his wife is like taking care of their children, he gets drunk in a closet and he accidentally turns on his camera, and then people like this dude, Troy Farrington. Congratulations, Troy, you're on the show. People like this guy, Troy Farrington, they watch him slobber over a microphone. And so it's like a show where a guy, I'm not exactly sure what the point of it is. All right, let's say Howard Stern. Have you guys heard of him?
I'm familiar.
Okay. So he used to be a guy.
Never heard of him.
He used to be a guy on the radio, apparently. And then occasionally, somehow, he still gets written about in a thing, even though you've never heard a radio show by him in the past 25 years. And this guy, Chimpanzee, he goes into his closet, he gets really pilled out, and then he just drools onto a microphone, and Troy thinks that's incredible. And so he says, thank Kyle. And I'm like, wait, what does that mean? So I do some investigating, and apparently Chimpanzee thought that he was doxing me. He figured out my name from this document. Because later in the document, it brings up Alan. It says Alan Powell, no relation to Jesse, and then it blanks it out, which is a really great way of hiding somebody's name to leave these clues. I like that with you, Alan, the guy who posted this was like, fuck it, it's Alan Powell. Who gives a shit? He ain't scared of none of this. So this guy, Chimpanzee, he's like, okay, we got him. Finally, I've got something on this guy, Jesse. I've been trying my hardest to form a sentence to make fun of him for months now. And now we've got it. So I'm going to tell my audience he's doxed. So I replied to this Troy guy. I said, for what? He said, thank Kyle. I said, for what? LOL, did you think my name was a secret? Was this your shot at being spooky? My middle name is Caleb, too, dork. So just for those of you out there who are still confused by this, okay? That's our hate mail section, by the way. For those of you out there who are confused by this, just to be 100% clear, you can put that name into Google, and it is me. I'm Jesse Caleb Powell Stroud. I'm doing the Mersh thing here. Oh, I'm so scared. And everybody has always known that if they wanted to know. and here's what I'm going to ask you to do, because one thing I do agree with Mersh is that doxing is cool and fun. And by the way, it's now legal, because Mersh reported doxing to the police and they did nothing. So doxing is cool, fun, and legal now. And what I'd like you to do with that information is put my name into Google and find whatever the information is that comes up. And I want you to go to the address that comes up for me, okay? Because I've had people do this one to me before too, where they'll post the address that comes up. I would really enjoy it if you went to 50 East 18th Street in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Good luck. Knock on all the doors. Why don't you? Really get in there. This is an apartment building with, I'd say, 40 units, and every one of them is a gang member. So please, for the love of God, go find my docs and do something with that information. It will work out so well for you. Or send me pizzas. I don't mind. We've been coleslawing Mersh. We've been sending him coleslaw. He's getting slawed. And we just keep sending him buckets of slaw. I would love it if you sent me pizzas or food. I will just accept it. I will eat it on the show. It's not even a problem for me. I was on my Mersh diet. Obviously, I am not doing a great job. So please, for the love of God, send me anything. So hosted by Jesse PS and an English YouTuber by the name of Porsalin. In the now, hang on a second. So he's saying, Porsalin, that you and I started the thread, which is fascinating because how would that even physically work? We both did it. Did we turn our keys at the same time in the submarine?
We shared one login and here's a paragraph.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah, form of Spurg. Here's people don't know this. What I did was it was Porsalin's idea. His first thread failed. So I said, Porsalin, don't worry. And I went over to Porsalin's house and I was rubbing his shoulders and I was whispering in his ear. And I was like, buddy, we're going to get him next time. Don't you worry. And I sat on his lap and I stroked the side of his face. And I said, here, let me help. And I guided his hand in a very sexual manner to the enter button. And simultaneously, we pressed the button on that next thread. And finally, through the magic of our now gay love, we were able to get Mersh to become a lolcow on Kiwi Farms. It was truly, what does he think? Like, when he types stuff like this, what does he think they're going to think? Two guys made a thread about... I don't think that the police even know what a thread is. Have you ever talked to anybody over the age of 45 about any of this internet stuff? They'll look at you like you just ran a train over them. They have no clue what's going on. You know that...
Have you seen the...
Go ahead.
Have you seen any of the Patrick Tomlinson court YouTube stream?
I have seen that. Catch people up what that is, because it's pretty involved, but give them like a basic explainer.
Yeah, it doesn't matter necessarily what it is. It's an author who is doing what Mersh is doing, basically. He's kind of suing the internet.
Huge lolcow in the O&A community. So for Mersh to seem like this guy is very embarrassing for Mersh, because Mersh wants to be Anthony so bad, and yet he's Opie. He's Opiate and Anthony. So this is like the worst guy he could get compared to.
But it's that his lawyer is having to sort of get himself versed in this in all of the doxing and internet and all, just basically both Patrick's lawyer and the judge are totally and utterly confused by everything. They have no idea what any of it means. The judge keeps having to delay it because he doesn't know what's going on. Like, no one has a grip on any of this.
Watch any court case that involves internet stuff and watch the judge. They are sitting, like, basically no court case that has ever taken place should have, like, every single one of them that involves the internet should have its results contested, good or bad. It doesn't matter which way it went, because the judge is sitting there and they have no fucking clue what any of this stuff means. Sometimes, I'll talk to my mom, and I don't know what to talk to her about. You got to talk to your mom as an adult. You got to let her know how your life is going and stuff, and she wants to know about you. She wants you to give her a phone. Give your mom a phone call, guys. Come on, Alan, for the love of God. Is your mom alive?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, give her a phone call, for the love of Christ, because she's worried about you, buddy. She should be. It's scary. If she ever found out what the internet was, it would terrify her what you're up to. But you're a deranged murderer. But occasionally I'll be like, okay, I got to talk to my mom. And it's like, what do you talk to her about? And she knows who Mersh is. Yeah, I like to tell her, like, yeah, he thinks I live with you and stuff. His new thing is he heard from Millhip that I live with my parents, and because he's so bad at jokes and so bad at being made fun of on the internet that he's now using Millhip bits to defend himself. So she knows who he is. I'll be like, yeah, you know that guy Mersh? And she's like, yeah. And she always looks like she feels so bad for these people. Because she knows why. She remembers me as a kid when I would, say I would pick on people and I would say the meanest thing possible. So she knows they're walking home crying, just like they did off of the bus. And I would tell her, like, oh, this is what's going on with Mersh. Kiwi Farm. You try to tell a mom what Kiwi Farms is. And this detective is a mom. It's a lady. Her name's Tiffany, for crying out loud. Okay, she's got 3 kids at home that her stay-at-home dad is having to take care of. This lady doesn't know what a Kiwi Farms is. It's like that first time they made a movie and it was the train coming at the camera and everybody jumped out of the way. That's the internet to old people. So he says, in this thread, I even provided my own post showing screenshots of them planning the thread on the website. So is he talking about when he showed up to the Kiwi Farms post? Is that what that means?
I think so.
I have no idea.
I think it is. He's saying, in this thread, I even provided my own post showing screenshots of them planning the thread on the website. So in the thread. So this is when he's actually he's talking about when he did the one rule you're not allowed to break, which is if you're the lol cow, you can't show up to your own thread. You're not allowed to post on your own thing or else you're gay. And Mersh showed up within 3 pages of his thread. In fact, there it is. It says page 3 right there. Page 3. So this is back when there were only 3 pages. There's 80 now. And he showed up, and of course he did, and he tried to defend himself, and then he showed up under alt accounts, and then he sent his capos to go defend him. It's really the saddest thing ever. These people are the ones behind our own doxing and public publishing of our address. Wait a second. That's the same thing twice. These people are the ones behind our own doxing and public publishing of our address. So he uses the most internet-y version of it, which is doxing with 2 X's. And then to clear that up, but also make it sound like another crime and public publishing of our address.
It's like saying, these people swatted me and then sent police over.
Officer, I was raped and I was forced to have sex against my will. Please arrest him for 2 crimes. That's 2 counts.
This list thing is a thing, isn't it? Like he can't stop himself making lists.
It's making lists, but it's also repeating himself. Every time he repeats himself, he can't stop it. If Mersh thinks he's on to something, if he thinks he just came up with a bit, he's going to say it 2, 3, 4 times. Minimum 2, 4 times probably. Hell, Royce does it sometimes. Sometimes Mersh will make a joke, and then Royce will make the same joke right after.
Well, he did it in the typewriter thing.
Well, we're going to get to the typewriter. Oh, my God, the typewriter. So I can't, because the typewriter, I think people are already seeing that typewriter, and they, the more we point this stuff out with Mersh, the less it works for him. Because I had a show where I pointed out that Mersh is doing this thing with packing tape, where he's going,
I saw that, yeah.
And people thought, okay, that's very funny. Yes, this is what Mersh always does. So then he goes to do the typewriter noise, and it immediately, in people's heads, is like, okay, so this is bullshit. Whatever he's doing here is bullshit because he's focusing in on that noise. It's just a way to fill time. Says, we have had attempts at swatting at our home as well. Oh, did you also have attempts at police being sent to your house falsely?
If they don't care about the doxing, then maybe they'll care about, my public address being posted.
Throw it all out there. Throw spaghetti at the wall and see what your fucking fortune is. Why not? Which you can confirm with Detective Kennedy of the Polk County Sheriff's Office here in Florida. So even if this had nothing to do with Mersh contacting police, they had contacted police before about this. He knows the detective's name. If you know the detective's name, you had multiple conversations. It's not they showed up to your house and you're like, nothing was going on. It's an internet thing. And they left. You've had a back and forth with police. So this is just what we've got info on. Porsalin, am I right in that, are you currently trying to get, I know somebody is trying to get some information from the Polk County Sheriff's Office on this whole swatting thing?
Oh, not me.
That is me.
I've
Oh,
put in a
Alan.
request.
Yep.
I've put in a FOIA request for the same documents that,
So-
you know.
Porsalin is trying to confirm this is real, but again, it's fucking real.
It's real. Of course it's real.
Alan, you put in the request for the Polk County. So you're trying to find out if this swatting incident even took place.
Correct. Since he's the one blaming me, for it all over Twitter and whatnot, and he's got his goons thinking that I'm, doing that.
Well, you've done it. I've done it. Fucking hip
Whoever-
star. Whoever was mean to him that week is the one who swatted him. It's whoever it needs to be. And meanwhile, this is the fucking... I've made this point before, but fuck it. If Mersh can repeat himself, so can I. This is the fucking guy who can't eat a plate of pasta without telling everybody about it. This is the guy who goes to the gym, who goes on a walk around a lake by himself as an adult man with no wife. As a 40-year-old man, he goes for a stroll and wants to talks about it for 30 minutes on the internet to strangers. If you think for a goddamn instant that Royce's house was swatted, which, by the way, they did it while you weren't live. You got swatted while no one was watching. That's not how swatting typically goes down. If you think for a fucking second
Right,
that
where's the payoff?
Yeah, exactly. If you think for a fucking second they got swatted and they never spoke about it until well after the fact, think again. Mersh can't take a fucking dump without telling you about it. And if he did tell you about it, I would do a 5-hour show about his dump in the pizza fund. This is confirmed. So if Mersh had ever been swatted, the first person who would know about it, not because I did it, because I'd be the one that everybody's running to going, oh my God, guess what Mersh just said, is me. I'd know, and I would have done 3 episodes about it. Mersh ain't never been swatted. Now, he gives a name, though, Detective Kennedy. You can confirm it with Detective Kennedy. So, Alan, have you contacted Detective Kennedy? Is that a real person there?
I've sent in a official to the public request to the Public Records Department.
What do you
for anything?
Go
phone
ahead.
calls, emails, any sort of reports against them, or any calls that they've made to police.
Wow. So, what did you do? You just gave them their specific address or said their name, or what was it exactly?
Correct. I just, the Michael Shield and Royce Lopez residence, and then I gave the address, and I gave them the time frame from 2019 to current date.
The Mr. and Mrs. Lopez residence. Yeah. All right. Please let me know when you get that info, because I'm very excited. Even if I'm wrong, let's say they were swatted. I would love to know. I'd love to know who did the call. When did it happen? He can't even give a date. He's never proven this in any fashion. Why wouldn't you?
It's not even that. The question for me isn't even whether the swatting happened. I mean, if it's true, then the burden of proof on Mersh is that, did we do it? Like, that's what he's claiming to a police officer, that we are part of a swatting gang. And I'm sorry, but like, that's a big claim. You're telling some Washington State Police Department that I am breaking the law, that I'm committing crimes against you without any fucking evidence.
Well, he said you can confirm it with Detective Kennedy. Just call up Detective Kennedy. That'll happen. And then he gave the phone number. You can contact them at, and then gave the number. I mean, again, maybe we should call that. Let's unredact that number, and maybe we should call it and find out. Now, this is great. So he's already included Porsalin in on this. He's got Kiwi Farms in on this, but then he goes right back to me. I'm the fucking belle of the ball here, guys. I'm sorry. I know everybody wants to be the top Mersh troll, but he can't keep my name out of his mouth here. He says, the Pod Awful people are truly criminal sociopaths. Oh my God.
I got excited, very excited to see all of this.
Now, if you know me, there is no greater gift you can give me than a new name for the listeners of Pod Awful. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Pod Awful, we've got the Piranhas. We've got the Dregs of Society. We've got the Basement Crew. We've got the Fans of Hate. And, of course, now we have the Pod Awful criminal sociopaths. I'm so proud.
I'm a killer
As
gorilla.
if normal sociopaths aren't criminals.
Yeah, as opposed to the non-criminal sociopaths or the non-sociopath criminals. I love it. I was literally like a day before this thing came out, I was saying, hey, what are some of the names that goons have called us before? And everybody was trying to think of stuff in Discord because I'm renaming levels of the Pizza Fund to these things. That came out and I was like, that's it. That's the fucking $40 level. You're giving me $40, you get to be a criminal sociopath. You get to be the fucking cream of the crop. That's 100% the top rank in pod awful lore as far as I'm concerned. So, Mersh, honestly, thank you. You could not have given me a better gift than this. Pod awful, the only show that rocks. The pod awful people are truly criminal sociopaths. And I like this. He put ... and then he says,
all the ellipses,
yeah, he learned that one from JJ Stoner. You ever seen JJ Stoner?
Give it time to set in.
Yeah, exactly. Detective, I know you need a moment after reading that. Hang on. He's in full Mersh Noir mode here. He says, the pod awful people are truly criminal sociopaths, ... And rumor has it that they actually had... Rumor has it? Who's spreading this rumor? What are you gossipy little bag, you? Oh my God. What a dainty little lady Mersh is. And rumor has the all around the rumor mill, people are saying, is this like one of those blind item gossip blogs? Am I reading like...
He thinks he's Joy Behart.
It's 50...
Sounds like an LA Noir NPC or something.
It's like crazy
bumping into.
It's crazy days and nights. Fucking... Actually, I heard on the street... There... talk around town is, and rumor has it that they actually had can you believe this? Tiffany, it's Mershel. Okay, listen, babe. The rumor has it that they had actually had a female in their fan base trick a mentally challenged guy into sending her provocative pictures of himself, and they then released them publicly. Mersh, I just want to go ahead and tell you right now. The rumors are true! Sorry. Yeah, that's true. We did do that. Now what? What does that have to do with fucking you, Mersh? How does that relate to you?
That's another that he doxed Ethan Ralph thing.
Exactly. And rumor has it. Sounds like you're the one spreading the rumor when you say there's no rumor. Let me tell you something. There's no rumor. I did multiple shows about it. It's not a rumor. You can just watch it happen in real time. It actually was not a female, though. I did not have a female in the fan base do it. That's actually part of the gag, is that it was a guy. I hate to say too much here, you know. I mean, this is a little bit of the man behind the curtain here. But they actually had her do that. A mentally challenged guy into sending her provocative pictures of himself. And then they released them publicly.
If Mersh could grow hair, he'd be twirling it in his fingers as he's writing this.
Well, speaking of twirls. So he says, and this is great. He ends it by saying, these are really messed up people. Okay, a little bit of editorializing there, Mersh, but fine. And then he gives the Kiwi Farms link, and he says, this second link is to a subreddit. Congratulations to all the r/Mersh people. You're in here too. This second link is to a subreddit dedicated to similar things. Doxing and general harassment of myself as well as my... Now this is where I start to lose it. Doxing and general harassment of myself as well my family, which bullshit. And Alan, didn't he fuck with your family or something?
Yeah, he messaged my dad.
He messaged your dad. Okay, what happened there? Tell me that story.
Okay, I actually have what he said.
Right.
On April 3rd of last year, actually, no, it was this year, so it must have been the anniversary. He had a date in his calendar. He said, maybe if you spent less time surfing and more time raising good children, then your son wouldn't be like this. Your son needs serious professional mental help. California has plenty of resources. Maybe you should help your son.
And what was your dad's reaction to that? What?
He started laughing and he called me. He's like, some Jewish guy called me and he's, sent me those photos, something you said.
He did not say some Jewish
100%.
Son, I mean, okay, hang on a second. What did he think was going, like, what was the impetus for this? What did he think the results would be? Did he think you live with your dad and your dad was going to go, son, get in here. I just got a message from a concerned internet citizen, and he says you're being bad online. Is that true? And then he's going to give you a spanking across the rear end. What was the goal here? Why did he do this?
He probably thought I was going to get my car privileges taken away so I couldn't drive to his house anymore.
Hey, son, some Jewish guy. Okay.
Sheely, is that Jewish?
So he says that people have been doxing and harassing his family, which is not only bullshit, but the most hypocritical fucking thing he could possibly say. We've seen him do this, and not only to Alan, we've seen him do it to, by the way, mentally challenged people. Anybody remember Dayton Hypernova? You think they never contacted his dad? I've seen Royce talk to that guy's dad. All right. And maybe Mersh didn't have anything to do. Maybe it wasn't Mersh, but it was his business partner. It was, you want to include everybody in the email here, Mersh? Well, then all of your associates, everyone involved in the Mersh effect is all a part of what you do. You're saying you go from saying I made the Kiwi Farms thing to Porsalin made the Kiwi Farms thread to my fans made it. Who is it? Are we all sitting there in the same chair, holding each other, hugging and going kumbaya and then pressing the button together? Are we Power Rangers starting up the Megazord against Mersh, the Mersh-Azord?
It's a Captain Planet thing.
It is. And I'm, by the way, not heart gay. So I pick fire. Fire, called it. Okay, you guys, you don't
water.
Call your thing. Water.
No, for the surfboard.
That's cool, man. I like that. Yeah. Porsalin, which one would you be?
Give me Earth.
Okay. All right. You want, so you like the African guy. That's your, you
is he African?
Oh, yeah. Kwame. I think so.
Oh, I've really screwed myself over.
Okay. So not only does he say we were messing with his family, this bitch has the nerve to say that we harassed and doxed his girlfriend. Now, I don't know how on earth I would harass and dox a girlfriend when I truly believe Mersh has not had a girlfriend in the last 6 years.
I just assumed you'd dox Sen Rhino.
Yeah, does he mean Royce? Who is he talking about? How do you dox and harass an imaginary stripper? Somebody explain this to me. Because has he had, do we know if he's had any female companionship in the past few years since ROTC started? I've never seen any evidence of this. If
I've only seen him berate women.
You've only seen what?
I've only seen him berate women in his chat.
Yeah, well, of course, and he's smashing cougars and stuff like that. Yeah, who am I doxing and harassing? The poor fucking women that he's that he's dreaming of saying mean things to while he's over at Miller's Ale House.
Oh my God, I have bonitis.
I've seen
Did
him,
I cross swords with this guy at some point?
From Baked Alaska.
So you see him what?
I saw him waddle away with a girl from Baked Alaska.
Oh no!
That was the other guy's girlfriend that he was with.
Porsalin, you gotta watch my stream on that incident because I go over in nitty gritty detail who that woman was to Mersh, and the answer is a complete stranger. No, he was not.
Really?
Yes, and I'm not just making that up. he even confirmed that. People were saying, well, look, Mersh is out with a hot girl. And then Mersh himself went to Twitter and said, I don't even know those people. If you watch, they're laughing at him when Baked calls him fat. they
were just walking by at the same time?
Mersh claimed that they were friends of his, but the girl in the video is clearly with another guy. She's like visibly.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't know any ladies. I think the closest he's come to a relationship with an actual woman in the past few years was probably when he drunkenly called Martina Markota on election night. That was like, he probably remembers that as a date. He probably wrote that one down in his diary and said, hey, diary, I'm getting closer, okay?
I think that's first base.
Yeah.
As far as I know, gay vampires don't have girlfriends.
That's true. That's 100% true, and he is a gay vampire. We all know it. So, I don't know. I don't believe he's got a girlfriend. What are they saying in the chat room? Is it a doll? His girlfriend is a cat. They're saying, see, that's a little bit more recent, though.
What if the couch was his girlfriend?
A.G. Luck is his girlfriend. Yoba. Mersh can't even see his own dick. Nicole Arbor. His Applebee's bitches. They're saying in the chat room. She had a baby.
Tiffany Dobbins. That's who it is.
Oh, yeah. Detective Tiff. Yeah, he probably thinks this is a date. He walked away from this email going, I think that Tiffany bitch was actually into. If we were to go back to Nightwave archives to April, whatever, 2020, if you listen through those episodes, I guarantee you he said, like, I was actually macking on this girl recently, and she was like so obviously into me, and he's talking about this, where she's just like, okay, thanks for this info, and then never spoke to him
probably
again.
Considers this cyber sex, this fucking email exchange.
Well,
detective.
I don't know. Would he consider it cyber sex if it's with a girl, an actual girl? So yeah, apparently people are harassing his imaginary girlfriend, all innocent people whose only sin is being involved with me, which, by the way, that's a big enough sin. I think you actually go to hell for that. Why do you think so many people have broken away from you, Mersh? You had a satanic wedding, for crying out loud. That is a sin. This is great. If I were a bettering man, so he has a really retarded typo in here. If I were a bettering man, he clearly means betting man. But I think what happened here is his brain actually misfired. And he was thinking of like, oh, I wish I was a better man. You know, when he looks at himself in the mirror, which, by the way, he actually has, Mersh is so fancy, he's got one of those double mirror vanities, but he's actually medically required to use those so he can only see one image of himself with his crossed eyes. But when he looks into the mirror, he doesn't like what he sees. I mean, how could you? So that tripped him up right here. He wanted to say, if I was a betting man, he said, if I were a bettering man, I would put money that whoever is trying to pin Owen's incident on me, which, by the way, Mersh has publicly admitted to fucking with Owen's life multiple times. So if I were a bettering man, I'd put money that it was Mersh.
He's the only one that was contacted.
He probably was. Whoever's trying to pin Owen's incident on me is one of the frequent posters on this subreddit. Yeah, that makes sense. You know who probably fucked with Owen? Not the guy who talks about Owen Benjamin every single fucking night. It was probably one of the guys that don't like Mersh. That makes a lot of sense. It was pot awful. I still barely know who Owen Benjamin is. I've never gotten involved in that world. Even when I'd occasionally show up into the chat room of ROTC. I would only watch when they would make fun of lolcows. Like, I watched the Dayton Hypernova stuff. And the second, I guess maybe people think of Owen Benjamin as a lolcow, but to me, it always had that political bent to it, and I can't watch that stuff. So I've never really checked in on it. I don't know that much about him. He says, I'm not very familiar I'm not very famous or well known. There's a very short list of people who are this obsessed with me. Mersh isn't very famous or well known.
Call me a pedophile and dox my address.
And I stick enough things on my butt, I'll make the most money.
I know I'm fat. I know I'm a drunk. And I know I'm retarded.
This may be the only time I've ever seen of Mersh admitting that he is not an e-celeb, that he is an unknown, that he is not famous.
This was back in April 2020. I mean,
he's been calling himself an e-celeb.
His celebrity has grown.
He's been calling himself an e-celeb since 2017, Porsalin.
I know, I was just being
I mean, this guy thought he was famous when they had 2,000 subscribers. By the way, you're not famous if you have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. You're not famous. Not anymore. Okay? In fact, not ever. You're not necessarily famous. Let me put it that way. If you are only famous for being on YouTube, then you are not famous because grandmas and grandpas don't know who you are. You know who's famous? Tom Cruise. He's famous. That's a famous guy. Angelina Jolie is famous. You know who you know who's not famous? Porsalin. I'm sorry. You're not. You're just not famous. Okay? You weren't famous back when he wrote this. You're not famous now. You know who's also not famous though, Porsalin? This isn't bad to be. You know who's not famous? PewDiePie. PewDiePie is not famous. I know. I know that blows some people's minds. But if you were to walk down the street and say, hey, did you see the last PewDiePie to a random black dude? He'd look at you funny. And not just because you're Alan Powell and you're seething and bubbling at the mouth while holding a knife up to him. There's a different level on the internet than in the rest of life. And we need to stop using this word famous. Mersh especially. It's mostly Mersh. But for those of you out there who are a little confused, who think that there's such a thing as clout on the internet, I'm so sick of this word clout. It's Mersh's favorite fucking word, and he's never known what it means. He's never had it, he's never used it properly, and he's never gonna get it. You can't be famous from the internet. It's still not possible. I know everybody thinks we've had a digital revolution and everybody's cutting the cord, and now we're in the new media. We're the new media insurgents, right? That's Royce and Mersh's thing. No. You're heroes of the couch emporium. That's about it. Mersh, you didn't have a bed until you were 38 years old. I mean, that's fucking psycho. You didn't have your own place to live until you were 38 years old. You're not famous. You're never going to be famous. Okay? Who is the most famous internet man? Joe Rogan isn't famous, they're saying in the chat. I guess Joe Rogan's famous. But Joe Rogan is famous because he was on the TV. He had he had 2 big shows on TV. News Radio, Fear Factor. He is regular guy famous. That's a different thing. Comedy Central doesn't have as many subscribers as some YouTube people. But what has been watched more? Comedy Central or PewDiePie? I'm going to say it's not PewDiePie. I'm going to say most of the views on the internet aren't real. They're just fucking Indians sitting there and clicking things. And I'm not saying PewDiePie's buying bots, although people absolutely bought him bots when there was that competition between him and, you guessed it, an Indian thing called T-Series. I absolutely buy. There aren't, how many fucking subscribers does he have? 500 million or something? There's not that many people on YouTube, for crying out loud. Most of those are alt accounts or something. It's just not true. Subscriber numbers don't mean anything. View counts don't mean anything. You ever seen somebody who's TikTok famous? You ever see the numbers they get on TikTok? Millions and millions of views. That shit ain't real. TikTok gives you fake views to make you feel like you want to keep using their app. It's kind of genius, really. I don't know why YouTube doesn't do that. They should do it. You want it to look like people are fucking watching this retard bullshit. But TikTok is literally retard bullshit. And I don't mean that in a pejorative way. I mean, it's actually Down syndrome people on their app. It's the greatest. If you like watching a Down syndrome guy, it's the second greatest place you can go next to Pod Awful. And there will be a Down syndrome guy on there who's singing a song. He's going, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. On McDonald had a farm. happy birthday, and then craps his pants. And that has 500 million views. This shit ain't real. Somebody needs to get it through Mersh's head that he is not famous. He has never been famous. He will never be famous. I am so happy to see. He thought this would never be seen. He doesn't want this out there. Use this against him, okay? He hates this. I'm going to put it up on screen for you. Screenshot it, whatever you want to do. This man doesn't want you to know that he knows he's not famous. He thinks he's better than you. He thinks that because people have watched him, what he has to say holds more weight. But the only thing that holds more weight is Mersh's fat fucking gut. Let's keep reading. I'm sorry, that was maybe a little too far. I shouldn't fat shame the man. He's trying his best at the gym. He said recently that he listens to Royce for all workout advice.
Oh, that's a great person. He's super fit.
The only guy Mersh knows that's fatter than him, and that's the guy he listens to for weight loss advice. Okay, so Mersh says he gives the r/Mersh link, which is very funny. And by the way, is it Mersh.gay? I think will take you to r/Mersh. It's one of these websites. Mersh.gay, I'm pretty sure will take you there. Some of the more well-known names in that community. And here we go. Alan Powell, let's get you involved here. Congratulations, buddy. You're the third highest on the list. Okay. How does that make you feel? I mean, this is officially the totem pole of Mersh trolls, anti-Mersh people. It's got to feel pretty good that where you get your own little section like this, right?
Yeah, especially since I did so little to achieve this status.
It really doesn't take much when it comes to it. That's the psycho thing. Is I don't even want to cover Mersh all the time. I really don't. People think like that I do have like an obsession with him. I do. But it's also just it's too easy every week. If I wanted to, every single episode of this show could be about Mersh. That's how often he does something stupid. I could do it every week. And not only would it be easy to do, it would still be funny. I wouldn't even have to try very hard. Poor Alan, he's not even trying to make fun of Mersh. Alan just goes outside and somehow Mersh has a meltdown. And he's very focused. I've noticed this, Alan. He's very focused on your teeth. Can we talk about that for a second? Do you mind if we talk about this?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay, so you have bad teeth.
Yes.
Now, why is that? What happened? Were you punched in the face? Did a shark bite all your teeth off? A shark with much stronger teeth?
No, I just don't brush.
Oh, okay. And is there like an Owen Benjamin style reason for that? Are you drinking turpentine? What's going on?
No, it's just never became a habit when I was a kid. So
did you grow up on a commune or something? Were you are you afraid of fluoride?
I grew up in Long Island, and no.
So yes. Okay, so you just don't brush, and your teeth are a little jacked up. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Your teeth are a little jacked up. And Mersh calls you Captain Crunch Teeth, which I'm not even sure what that really means. If you really want to break down the insults with Mersh, he's not very good at them. Alan is Captain Crunch Teeth, which, is it that your teeth looks like Captain Crunch? Is it that crunch sounds like something teeth do? I'm not quite sure.
It's got to be the little yellow parts.
Maybe. Who knows? Is it Oops All Berries style? No one knows. He calls Porsalin middle of the road Porcelain. Good one. Great. Porcelain, I've heard him weep multiple times over this name. It's really affected him. He's dying inside at night about this. Porcelain's crying right now. He can't even bring himself to say anything about this. Porcelain, it's okay, dude. Listen, do you need a moment?
Yeah, just a second.
It's okay, man. Listen, I don't think you're middle of the road. I think you sometimes choose one way or the other, to be honest. What does that even mean? What does that mean? I honestly don't know what middle of the road Porcelain means. I've never understood that.
It means that he's not a super loyalist.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Mersh.
exactly what it is. Yeah, it's that at the time of him saying that, I was not completely subscribed to ROTC community guidelines.
So his insult against you is that you're not part of the Mersh effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I broke free of his weird Discord cult.
Okay, and then my insult is long hair man, which is just descriptive. It's like using China man as an insult. It's just a man from China.
Like middle school insults.
Long hair man. So obviously we're all dying here, but I guess, Alan, of all of those, yours is maybe the worst. And it has to feel bad coming from Mersh when does he think we can't see his teeth? Does he think we don't know he has dead teeth, like literally gray, dead teeth? They're all crooked. They're all horrifying. He one time did a live stream where, and I'm not kidding, hand to God, okay? Hand to God. His teeth were green, a color I didn't think was possible for a tooth. It's not a joke. One time he
Is that
live
moss
streamed.
growing on them?
Yeah. Well,
They look like Eradicate teeth.
That's the problem.
Eradicate.
That's the problem is Mersh always faces north, and so he's all there. Moss is always trying to grow all over his mouth. It might be the same
Just
thing.
Algae.
Algae. It might be the same thing that withers his hands too. He's constantly just scraping off a green slime from himself.
They probably shift around when he chews on the bones.
That's true. I gotta say this. Mersh hates it when you point out his dead teeth. It's the word, like he does not like it at all. He tries to hide it. He streams in low resolution. A lot of people think he does it because he's poor. And while yes, he is poor, he does live in Section 8 housing and he can't afford anything and he doesn't actually pay his own rent. The government does it for him. We do it for him. Mersh actually, he purposefully streams in 370 from his camera, which I'm not sure that's even one of the numbers. He actually I think it's 380 and he lowered it another 10 just in case, just to hide it. He was going to do 240. He's like, no, that'll be too obvious. And then he went to 380. He's like, I don't know. He went, nah, let me go into, he tried to get it to 365, somewhere in there, 361. And this is all just to hide his teeth. Mersh has dead teeth. You want to make Mersh mad? You want to get banned from his chat immediately? And by the way, his chat capos, the guys who are just given wrenches without asking for them so they'll stay loyal to him, they are listening to the show right now, and they are taking notes on what to ban you for in the next Nightwave episode. And I know this is true. I know this is real. Well, there's two ways I know this. One of them I can't tell you, but there's a guy who contacts me every once in a while from Mersh's little loyalty camp. And he's a weird guy because he's on both sides of the fence. He does like Mersh, but he loves to fucking grass on Mersh too. And he has said basically that this is true. Like that they sometimes, I don't know if they still use a Discord to talk or whatever, but I know that back when they had a Discord, they would talk about like, okay, ban anybody who says this, ban anybody, when the triangle thing started, it's like ban anybody who says triangle. I also know this because I've seen it happen in front of my eyes. I've said like, go into Mersh's chat tomorrow night and say this. And it's like a word that shouldn't mean anything to anybody but us. And they just immediately get banned. I don't know if it's Mersh doing it himself. I don't know if he tells them to do it, but this is what I've heard. Anyway, so we're going to try this as an experiment. And this is a fun thing about it. This is a fun thing about calling that out ahead of time is now they have two choices. They can either let it happen, which is going to make Mersh mad, or they can ban you immediately, which will prove I'm right that they're taking notes on what I say. So catch 22 here, guys. Look out. Good luck to you. Which one do you choose? Fucking Sophie's choice, huh? Do you want Mersh to be mad at you? Ban the Spurgs, right? You don't want me to be right, though, do you? You don't want to look weak. Give him nothing. So tomorrow night on Nightwave, assuming there's a Nightwave, because Friday night's Nightwave didn't happen. Wonder why. Alan, do you know why Friday night's Nightwave didn't happen?
Yeah, because he was supposed to show proof that I tried to swat him.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So tomorrow night, assuming Nightwave goes off like it's supposed to, go in there and just say dead tooth. That's it. That's all you got to do. Dead tooth. Dead tooth Mersh. You don't have to throw in a Hollywood. You don't have to say pod awful, or you don't have to say FOIA. All of these things are fun, but the only thing you actually need is dead tooth. He hates it. He hates it because he doesn't want to be compared to Alan. Alan proudly doesn't brush his teeth. Alan said, when Alan was a boy, he said, fuck dentists. And Mersh, he tried to keep his teeth alive, and they still died because of all the smoking. So he says some of the most well-known names in that community are Alan Powell, no relation to Jesse Powell Stroud. And that's where he's wrong. Alan and I are cousins. So you fucked that one up. David,
We're literally both named Powell. How did he not know?
How did you not figure that out? Colin Powell's our grandpa. And we're
Rest in
actually...
peace.
R.I.P., obviously. He also says David Walsh, Thomas Daly, and Ian Ellis. All of these are blacked out, but it's obvious who they are. Most of these people are failed YouTube. Now, here's where I agree with him. Most of these people are failed YouTubers who see us as their enemy and are trying to make a name for themselves by destroying our lives.
Destroying. So dramatic.
Poor baby. This is really this is such a great psychological profile into how Mersh looks at the world. This is what he's seeing out there. Everybody, it is all the pecking order with him. It's transactional. It's who's above me, who am I above? It is, are you with me or are you against me? Because if you're against me, you're destroying my life. I mean, let's really look. Like, I don't know Thomas Daly too well. Porsalin, you know him, right?
Yeah.
What has Thomas Daly done to Mersh? Because I would say out of all these people, that's probably the most forgotten about name in the Mersh trolling.
Like I said, all he's ever done is a couple of streams from maybe a year and a half ago where he just called Mersh a pedophile. And then he did a review of the Matt Christiansen video, which was actually quite good.
You know what? Now that you bring that up, I do remember that. That one was okay. So it's very funny. Okay, so it ruined Mersh's life to say just falsely with no evidence that he's a pedophile, which, by the way, has happened to me, has happened to Porsalin, has happened to like every single guy on the internet ever. It's immediately, literally this show started with Bex saying that we need to save kids, as if me somehow doing this is murdering them. So
this is the interesting thing. Mersh accuses his detractors of living on the internet, and that he acknowledges, or at least he attempts to, that he's not an internet guy.
Right.
And yet, if his life can be ruined by things that are said on the internet, then surely, that says a lot about him.
On the weekend, I don't even look at this stuff. You think I'm paying any attention? I'm constantly on Twitter. All day long, I'm on Twitter. You think I pay attention to this for even 1 minute? I've got a life out. No, you don't. Mersh really loves pretending he's got a life outside of the internet. Number one, it's okay to not have a life outside of the internet. That's the modern day. It's so stupid when people are judging each other for being internet-y, because, and I'm saying internet-y just to be clear here, because Mersh borrows internet-y about me from Red Bar. But Red Bar saying people are internet-y is so retarded, right? Is there anybody more internet-y than any of these people we're talking about? But everybody is. Everybody's. I can't drive down the street without seeing people with their faces buried in their phones, and they're driving. It's terrifying to me. As a guy who didn't drive for 10 years, I lived in New York City. I didn't need a car. So I didn't drive for 10 years. And now I drive again, and I'm looking next to me, and people are fucking swerving all over the road on Twitter. I saw a guy's phone. He was looking at Reddit. It was that important to him that he needed to upvote while driving at 70 miles per hour.
It's me.
Yes, exactly. Fucking Alan Powell drive foot to the fucking floor, pedal to the metal, going high
posting
speed.
Posting on r/Mersh.
And he's posting an r/Mersh. Trying not to get banned by gammas. So I believe that everybody is internet-y now. Your whole life is in a phone now. This is not, everybody's in their mom's basement at this point. It's not even something to say. But fucking Mersh is sitting over here acting like his life is destroyed by goddamn Ian Ellis, who just makes the worst South Park ripoff cartoons you've ever seen in your life. They're not funny. They're not good. Like, they're not well made. There's nothing to them. Nobody's following along with them. If I were Mersh and the worst guy I had to worry about was Philip Wave Radio, I would be so thankful because it's nothing. His life is ruined by David Walsh, who is a literal retarded person. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about David Walsh. My interaction with him has been slight. I'm going to guess he's in the chat right now because every single time I've ever talked about Mersh, there's a guy in my chat. It's always under a brand new YouTube name, and there'll be a guy in the chat who's like, you should really get David Walsh on the show. And my guess is, and it's just a guess, but call me crazy, but I think it might be David Walsh saying that. It's just a guess. And he seems to think I don't know. He seems to think that, like, oh, yeah, no, this is one of David Walsh's fans. David Walsh, maybe Mersh is so put off by David Walsh because he's technically Mersh's, the yin to Mersh's yang. While Mersh is cross-eyed, David is wall-eyed. And he's a little lazy-eyed. And maybe he's afraid that if the two were to ever meet, some sort of nexus would form and they'd both be broken down into a singularity. Yeah, exactly.
Station from Bill and Ted.
Exactly. Yeah, they're station. They become one big gremlin. So he goes on to say, most of these people are failed YouTubers who see us as their enemy, blah, blah, blah. However, their obsession has deepened to a point where it's began to manifest itself in criminal activity like doxing, swatting. Oh, you mean the things you already said above. And this most recent incident where they have apparently tried to doctor evidence of wrongdoing on my part. Read that sentence again with me here. And this most recent incident where they have apparently tried to doctor evidence of wrongdoing on my part. If you don't hear Mersh's sick little slimy, I did nothing wrong, but that thing he does all the time. Apparently, people are saying I doctored evidence, but I had nothing to, it's right there. You can feel it when he's lying. If you know Mersh, you've heard him say shit like this before about stuff he's lying about. He's trying to tell you. He's doing a wink and a nod. I had nothing to do with it. Alan Powell's dad, I don't know why, is saying I'm one of the chosen people. I had nothing to do with this whatsoever, obviously. Here is a link to Alan Powell's Twitter account. I have also attached a screenshot of him stating explicitly that my sister and ex-girlfriends should be raped to teach me a lesson. Now, Alan, did you say that his sister and his ex-girlfriend should be raped to teach him a lesson?
I commented on David Walsh's channel saying that I hope that happens because he had said the same thing about David's dog the night before.
And what lesson would that teach him, by the way? That's one they don't teach in school, that's for sure. Yeah, so this is the thing with David Walsh is Mersh has made a whole thing. David Walsh's dog died or something. I don't keep up with this, but I've seen the fallout from it. David Walsh's dog dies, and Mersh went for weeks on and on about how it's funny that his dog died. And people really took sides. Man, you can't make fun of a dead animal. I don't even see what the big deal. Yeah, it's fun. Well, if you're going to make fun of a guy, why not make fun of his dead dog? I did it to Steven Crowder, and then his dog fucking lived, and it's still alive. He was making a whole...
The funny part is he said that he hopes the dog was raped to death, and that's how he died.
Well, okay, maybe that's a little extreme. So, yeah, your response was just in kind. Oh, yeah, well, your sister and your ex-girlfriends.
The one thing that Mersh hates the most, a taste of his own medicine.
That's so true. That's so true. And Matt, Of course he hates the taste of it. Imagine what something produced by Mersh would taste like. Ugh. Oh my God. Why do you think all of those are ex-girlfriends? I'm surprised his sister.
Cigarette ash.
That'd be funny if he put ex-sister, by the way, as well. Ex-sister, ex-girlfriends. Should be raped to teach me a lesson. And that's not even a lesson that Mersh needs to learn, because Mersh himself was raped to be taught a lesson by his uncle, right? Wasn't he molested or something? So he says, I have also provided a screenshot of him confirming that it was him. So you went back and said, yes, I affirm, this is me.
Yes, I did say I have bad hopes about his family members.
I'm Alan Powell, and I approve of this message. You can see at first glance that this man's entire internet existence is dedicated to me. Now, I've seen your entire internet existence. That's not true. It's also dedicated to being a psycho in other ways, 100%. I don't think you... Yeah. I would say I probably dedicate more time to Mersh than you do. He says it's... He says, it's extremely disturbing. I believe Alan... Oh, my God! So he's like, this guy's obsessed with me. He's doing creepy things and he's doxing me. I believe he lives in... And then they do a really bad job of blacking out where you live, because I know exactly what that says. In California, but I got that information third hand, so its reliability may not be 100%. Now, was he right about where you live here? Alan? Did he nail it? Was he right?
Yeah, probably because I've been open with it, you know.
Oh,
if they want to come, then that's probably not a good idea.
Now,
I won't be there.
I have to point this out because something very funny happened on Twitter. I was trying to get Mersh Effect people and fans of Mersh to see this. I want them to see, as you would, and by the way, force Mersh fans to look at this shit. Force them to, okay? Make them make that fucking decision, that hypocritical decision in their heads, because they're going to have to do it. Eventually, this thing's coming for them, where they're going to have to decide, is it now okay to do stuff like this, or is Mersh somehow not a bitch for doing it magically? Like, what is it? What is it that lets him get away with this? Force him to look at it. But I was tagging his fans and his friends on Twitter with this info just to make them look at it. No other reason. And I tagged Davey Crocco. And Davey's a weird guy because, you know, old tuna can head. Davey, the other day, he was begging me to come on a show. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Where he was on Twitter and he was like, I'll have anybody on. I just need somebody to talk to. It could be people who like me, people who don't. At Online Retard. That's me on Twitter. Follow me at Online Retard. At Online Retard could even come on. And I was like, well, damn, I'm getting an open invitation to go on Davey Crocco, but I just woke up. I don't need to go back to sleep. So I ignored it. And I didn't go on. But I also thought it would be way funnier if just nobody showed up. Like, how fucking sad would that be? The next day, I get everybody in my Discord together. I say, let's watch Davey Crocco show up to his chat. I had no intention of trying to go on the show. Just show up to his chat and support him. And he got so upset. And people were like, bring Jesse on. And it wasn't us saying it. It was like some other guy saying it. And Davey was getting so mad, going, I don't need to bring Jesse on. I said that was yesterday. Today is today. We don't need fucking Jesse on. I've got plans for tonight's show. And his plans for that show was, of course, looking at his Twitter. It was an awesome show. So I don't know what his deal is. He's very upset. And I think he's been trying to distance himself from Mersh for some time. So I think that is why he had such a negative reaction to me tagging him in this thing. But I did tag him in this, and I didn't say anything else, but he replied with some negative tweet. And I said, hey, man, all I know is, and this is true, somebody on Reddit said that they believed that Davey might have been the one to provide Mersh with Alan's docs. Now, if that's true, if that's not, I don't know. It's not why I tagged him, but I just said that. And of course, Davey says I'm lying. But the thing is, a really interesting thing happened there. What I actually said to Davey was, somebody said you provided Mersh the docs. I didn't say whose. I said the docs. And Davy's response was, I never doxed Alan. Now, this might be the most cartoonish Peter Griffin way of giving yourself away I've ever seen. Alan, I know you don't think it was Davey. I've seen you reply to this saying you don't think he did it. But what do you think about the fact that I didn't say it was you and then he said it was you?
It could be that he's saying that I was the one person he didn't dox.
Oh, now that's interesting. So he might have given Mersh any other information but yours. You are kind of friendly with Davey or something. What is the story there?
Yeah, he didn't like go hard against me. Like he wasn't a full Mersh sycophant when, the road trip to First Savannah went down. I
don't know about that. I mean, he's a pretty big sycophant. I think he gave himself away. To be honest, did Davey know where you live?
No.
Well, he could have looked it up like anybody else. I think he gave himself away. That's my personal opinion. But it was
anyone that I've donated to, they could probably track it through the PayPal.
Have you donated to Davey?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, then.
Bada bing, bada boom, baby.
Guilty, as far as I'm concerned. He did it. So everybody spread that around. Say Davey doxes people. He's Mersh's butt buddy. He sucks Mersh's butt. He eats his hole, and he wants to wear Mersh like a diaper and suck down his diarrhea. So, okay. Should I show there's another page of this. Let me just show this real quick. We've got page 2 here. It's just, it says, here is Alan's YouTube account. And here's a video that actually features him in it for reference on what he looks like. Crazy. That's a fucking crazy thing to do. If there's anything else I can do to assist you, please do not hesitate to reach out. I can provide information on these people who make fun of me anytime, any day of the week. And then he signs it, Mike Mersh-U-Mentary. I love this. Co-founder, ROTC Media. He's not a host. He's not just part of and by the way, ROTC Media, not Revenge of the Sis, ROTC Media, because how silly would it sound to tell people that you're the co-founder of Revenge of the Sis? I mean, Star Wars. So, and he's a co-founder. You're a sound...
Yeah, it's the umbrella company of the whole mechanism.
Of course, yeah. And also, so is We're Not Sorry and More Like Radio and all their other
Guns for Tards and...
Guns for Tards, all their stupid branding. I love co-founder, though. That's like such a SoundCloud CEO thing to do. Yeah, I'm a CEO of my company. I'm a co-founder.
That's totally on his LinkedIn.
I got an LLC. By the way, maybe you want to take down that whole co-founder thing from your little outro message there, Mersh, because you want to know the way you were actually doxed? You want to know the way that people knew where Royce lived? It was in your LLC. That's how they found it. That's what they posted to Kiwi Farms. They searched for the ROTC LLC. Your phone number and address came up. And then, of course, he's got his phone number in there and then his email, which is like mershcomedy@gmail.com or something. That's not fucking hidden either. And so this is why I believe this is a real email, because I have emailed Mersh before. I know this is his legit signature. I can read enough of that number to go, that's his fucking number. That's all the info right there. And then, of course, you've got the response from the detective here. It says, thank you for getting back to me so quickly. What is the best number to contact you? I am working from home this afternoon. Detective Tiffany Dobbins, which almost sounds fake, to be honest.
He said he was working from home?
Tiffany Dobbins said she's working from home. Yeah. And then Mersh, there's another one here that Mersh sent that just starts with, hello, detective. You know he loves...
fellow detective.
Yes, fellow detective. You know he loves sending that. He really thought
detective.
Mersh thinks he's a crime guy. Have you seen him talk about this Gabby Petito case? He was saying...
yeah, he thinks he solved it.
He thinks he solved it. He really does. He said, I called it. I knew where she was. I knew she was dead. I called it. I knew Brian Laundrie was dead. He was saying this. And he's not being sarcastic when he says this stuff. He thinks he sits there and he smokes enough cigarettes that he believes he really is this Mersh Noir character. He thinks he's like up to something. Like he's on a different wavelength than me or you. All right, let's come back here in just a second and talk a little bit more about this. We'll be right back after this.
God entered my body like a body my same size. I know all of God's secrets. Would you now like to know what God thinks?
One apple is our God now.
And I do see non-stop visions from God. Do you want to get an answer on what God thinks from somebody that doesn't have God, or do you want an answer from somebody that does have God? Click on the link.
Support the show. Join the Pizza Fund. Podawful.pizza.
Pizza.
Podawful.pizza.
Pizza.
All right, after tonight's program, we will be in the Pizza Fund in the $6 level, podawful.pizza, and we will be going over more hate mail and anything else we didn't have time for in tonight's show. You get all the after shows, our archives, all sorts of stuff in the Pizza Fund, podawful.pizza, and of course on Wednesdays we have the show in the $12 level as well, podawful.pizza, support the show. I do want to say this before we get back into it. Next week is Awfulween. It's our big Halloween show. I hope you'll show up for that one. Very excited for that. It'll be a good one. You, if you're here for this one, you don't want to miss it. Okay? So be here next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, podawful.tv, awful.tube, whatever, however you find it, YouTube, whatever. I don't know. And then very finally here, we got a store, podawful.shop. You can buy t-shirts there. I haven't put out a new shirt in a while. Be on the lookout very soon for a brand new shirt that, again, if you're here tonight, will probably interest you. I'll probably debut that one on Awfulween, but just look out for that. So if anybody's, people bought shirts, I advertised the shirts last week and people bought shirts. Thank you to those people. But I do want to just warn you, if you are thinking about grabbing some shirts, there's another new one coming here soon. So maybe hold off. Podawful.shop for that. Okay, Porsalin, Alan Powell, thank you so much for joining me here tonight and talking about this and sticking with it. If you got to go, you got to go. But I do want to tell people out there, if you have any questions or any comments you want to add to this, you can join the Discord, podawful.com/Discord. Jump in the green room, and I will bring you in here, and you can say whatever you want to say. Fully open. Come on in here, podawful.com/Discord for that. For you guys, though, any other thoughts on, like, looking at all this stuff, as crazy as this fucking thing has all been, any other thoughts, anything we didn't talk about while looking at that? Anything else?
Yeah, the whole letter seems like something someone guilty would do to try and, you know, steer away the investigation from them.
100%. 100%. Again, I think that one line just obviously stated that. Him being like, oh, people are fabricating. So apparently they had screenshots of Mersh doing something. I guess we don't know what that is. Is there any more documentation from this FOIA?
It's most likely a false police report or a CPS report against Owen Benjamin.
Wow. And that's fucking huge. And you want to talk about a guy who complains about, when it goes into real life and stuff like that. I mean, the most fucking hypocritical. Has Mersh ever told the truth? Has he ever said anything true? One time, even. Is it not all just an obvious lie? This is a guy who...
I don't even think Mersh's is his real name.
You might be right. We'll have to investigate that. We'll have to Mersh Noir that one ourselves. Mersh is a guy who thought he could get away with lying about losing weight, even though we can see him. I mean, think about the level of pathological lying you would have to be to go, well, if I just tell people I'm skinnier, they'll believe it. You're on camera. Every time you adjust in your seat, we see your titties. You clearly are getting bigger, and you know it killed him when Baked Alaska like officially showed that with that footage when he showed like, hey, here's the end of White Boy Summer for you forever. You've lost no weight. You're fatter than the last time we saw you, if anything. But that's the way his brain works. And Porsalin, you've had him lie about you plenty of times.
Yes.
This is it ever to the point where like, are you at peace with it? Is it just funny to you at this point? Like that's where I'm at with it, or is it very annoying?
It used to be the most just irritating, annoying thing because especially I think when it goes back to the sort of Discord server that he ran, or it was specifically a channel in his Discord server that was privated, that was only accessible by the mods.
Yeah.
The likes of Execute and Ghost House and Frozen Asian, these kinds of people. And I got invited to that. And the whole purpose of the channel was to take Owen down by any measure. And it was all based on the fact that Owen insulted his mom, and then also Mersh was under the impression that Owen was... I mean, Owen at the time was actually saying that, like, I am going to, like, take him down, take his channel down, all that kind of stuff. So that was when I got all of my kind of, like, this is pissing me off kind of energy out of me. And then since then, it's kind of, it is what it is. I mean, like, when he sort of echoed the pedophile child, the fucking rapist sort of accusations, you roll your eyes and you just realize that this man is just a compulsive liar, and he'll wriggle his way out of anything. So yeah, I mean, at this point, none of this surprises me really. It's an elevation of what he's been up to, but it's certainly not out of character.
We've got James in here. James Fleming, go ahead.
Actually, this is Sam from the Whitfield Report.
Oh, well, hello, Sam. How you doing?
Hello, Sam.
Good. Well, I just wanted to say that I had Alan on my show last night to talk about the FOIA request, and apparently some people are upset that I had Alan on the show to just come on. Like, they're saying that I am attacking Mersh just to just because I'm friends with Alan. That's not how attacking someone works.
Let me clear this up for people.
Pure projection.
That has nothing to do with it. Sam is attacking Mersh because he hates Mersh, and he told me privately Mersh deserves to die, to be attacked by people on the internet, and he's been secretly organizing groups of spurgs to go against him. Isn't that right, Sam?
That might have been my evil twin that said that. But I mean, yeah, something to that effect.
Sounds like, I don't know, that sounds like a fucking lie right there. You're really having a tough time countering what I just said. It kind of sounds like you're trying to go back on what you privately told me before, which is that you hate Mersh and you think he should not have a platform. You said he should be deplatformed.
No, I said I think you're confusing Mersh with Owen, although that's
No, I have a lot of emails here from you. Email me about twice a week saying fuck Mersh. If I ever got my hands on that fat-necked and then you use a word I don't say, I will absolutely put a pounding to him. You said it was almost like it was a sexual thing, to be honest.
Oh shit. Well, I guess I've been I guess those emails are coming out, so
Okay. So you're saying
I am friends with Alan, so
you're friends with that. Do you think now you used to be a little bit of a Mersh effect guy, though, if I recall correctly?
No, I was more of a I've had a show longer than long before I even knew what any of those Nightwave or RTC people were even about.
But I know you from those circles. That's how I even know who you are, is from those circles. So you've played around in these circles. Seeing this type of thing, what does it make you think of Mersh?
I just think it's hilarious that Mersh's entire beef with Alan was over, Alan driving to Owen's house, allegedly. The fact that he couldn't pick up that was a troll, an obvious troll, is it's pretty obvious once you take a look
now
at it. And then
Sam, hang on a second. In the chat room, tell me if this is true or not. Somebody in the chat says Sam can only come when he is choking another man unconscious. Is that true?
That's what I just read.
They Ben.
They're also saying now, Sam. They're also saying Mersh stole jokes from Sam. Is that true?
I mean, Mersh has stolen several jokes from me and other, from other comedians. So that's not surprising.
Now, somebody else in the chat says that you sound like a supermodel Chad. Now, I've seen you. Do you consider yourself to be sort of a Chad, like a very beautiful man?
Well, I don't know about that. I do know that some of my fans think that. I'm flattered though. I think Mersh is just
Now, another guy, Sam, another guy in the chat says that you are hitting those vowels very hard.
I'm hitting the what very hard?
The vowels in the words you say.
Oh.
Yeah. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. But then again, why not, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why not?
You do? Okay. Well, anyway, Sam, so people are mad at you for talking to Alan about this. Are they going to be mad at me for talking to Alan about this? Why are they mad at you specifically about this if you're not a Mersh guy?
Yeah, I have no idea. Guilt by association, I guess.
Now they're saying in the chat room and address this rumor for me, Sam. They're saying you're hung like a field mouse. Is that true?
I'm hung like a field mouse. Well, that would maybe a nuclear field mouse.
Now somebody else says that you're tooth guarding right now. By defending Alan, you're tooth guarding. Do you think that's true?
Tooth guarding? That's a new one. That's a new one.
Now
hang on.
Now Sam, hang on a fucking second here, because this is interesting. Somebody said this in the chat room. Let me try to find it again. They said, Jesse, get him to say your name. Can you say my name for me?
Jesse.
That was maybe the worst attempt I've ever heard at saying Jesse. They were right for having you do that. Now, also in the chat room, they're calling you a total tooth guard. And they're saying this guy's a little slow on the draw. Is that true?
Well, I mean, depends where you're talking. So
I don't know. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Where you're talking?
I don't know what they mean by tooth guard. I mean, listen.
Okay, hang on. If you're still on tooth guard, then they're right. You're a little slow. But hang on a second here. They're saying in the chat room, and I just want to address, because you called in to address the people who are talking shit about you. Now I see them in the chat room, and I don't know, Sam, I don't know you too well, to be honest. We've talked before. You've invited me on your program before. I remember that. But I just want to give you your chance here to respond. Somebody says this guy has definitely licked paint before. Is that true?
Well,
that can't be true. That can't be true. You've never licked paint, right? Because how would your tongue even reach?
I don't know.
Exactly. Now, they're also saying the lobotomy segment. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
What do they mean by that?
I have no idea.
Somebody is upset that your last name is Whitfield, and I believe the way they've capitalized it here, I believe it's because what they're implying is that you should not be allowed to have the word wit in your name. But you spell it with an H, do you not?
Yes, I
So
do.
It's actually Whitfield, right?
Yeah, yes, it's the British spelling. It's
So
the
you're in
Whitfield.
no way trying to claim that you are witty.
I mean, some people think I am, some people don't.
Well, go to the chat on that one. Let's see what they're saying. They're asking. Now I don't know what this means. You tell me. They're asking, did you take the short bus to school?
that I can confirm.
You did.
I did.
I gotta be honest. I actually do know what that means 100%. And I was lying before when I said I don't. But I gotta be honest. I've always been jealous of the kids who got to ride the short bus. I thought the short bus looked cooler, and I wanted to ride with less fucking kids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to sit in the wheelchair part ever?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just out every day.
Oh, cool. Oh, wait, does that mean you're in a wheelchair?
Yeah. To be fair though, I'm not the
Yikes! Fuck, dude, you're in a wheelchair?
I'm not the...
What happened? Were you in like a horrific accident?
Pretty much.
What happened?
Was it
brain bleed. Pretty much after I was born.
Oh God, brain bleed. They hit you in the head or something? Did your mom squirt you out and you hit the floor?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened. Basically,
whoa, wait a
basically
second.
like a doctor left me unattended or something, and yeah.
Hang on, Sam. I think I'm just putting this together, and I want to apologize for what's going on here. Can I ask you a personal question? This is from me. This isn't the chat room.
Sure.
Are you like what is the word you're supposed to use here? I can't remember how the treadmill goes. Forgive me because I might use the wrong terminology here, okay? I'm not trying to say anything mean. You're not mentally challenged, are you?
No.
Or like special ed, maybe? Did you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not Mersh. So.
Damn!
Call me a pedophile and follow docs my address. They're cyberbullying me.
And I know I'm retarded.
I don't plan on using my platform to jerk myself off and tell jokes about the blacks every night.
Okay, go ahead.
There's
Sam.
work to be done.
Okay, Sam, go ahead. What were you saying? Because I didn't want people making fun of you. I just put that together that maybe they were saying you're retarded.
So.
Oh wait.
No, no. As I've said, I may be crippled, but I'm not retarded. So. Yeah, but basically,
hang on. Okay, go ahead.
If let's see.
I don't have fucking all day saying, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I'm just this comment. Guns for Tards has just backfired.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Guns for Tards has backfired. And also apparently I'm a conspirator against Mersh for also watching Porsalin documentaries, which wouldn't the entire internet then be conspiring against Mersh because everyone
suck his fucking dick some more, why don't you? You're already down there on your knees.
I mean,
what do you think? What do you think? Porsalin's going to be your best bud now? As you said, the whole internet watches his docs.
Are you trying to Mersh affect me?
Are
now,
you
son?
trying to fucking Mersh affect us right now?
Well, I am trying to Sam affect you guys.
All right.
So.
This is getting a little gay. If anybody else wants to call in, podawful.com/Discord, join the green room. I'll bring you in. Sam, I'm gonna give you one chance here. You've got 30 seconds on the clock to make one final point. And if you are able to make that point within 30 seconds, we will respond to it as if you're a normal guy. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hang on a second. Wait, I don't actually have a stopwatch ready. Hang on, I'm gonna actually do this. Okay, let's get.
Can you count to 30 there, son?
Reset. Okay, here we go. 30 minutes on the clock. Are you ready, Sam?
Yeah.
And go.
Anyway, the point I was going to make is Alan Powell is the greatest troll who ever lived. Good night, everyone.
Hell yeah.
I got excited, very excited to see all of this.
And by the way, 7 seconds. 7 seconds. He had time to spare. So congratulations to Sam. He did it. Podawful.com/Discord if you want to join in and say anything that isn't whatever all of that was. And Alan, I don't think that you're at fault for, whatever it was that Sam had a problem with. No, I like Sam. He's a great guy. Anyway, let's do this. Alan had a video here. Alan might be gone now, but Alan had a video here. A little bit of this was in the beginning, but I just thought this was a fun little juxtaposition. But you know what? Speaking of, since Sam was just sucking your cock, Porsalin, real quick, people have been begging you to do that Mersh doc for a long, long time. So I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to be the first to premiere the brand new Mersh documentary about all of this. And I understand there's actually a little bit more to come. There's something else. And I understand from our secret private chats that maybe you're working on just something a little bit more.
No, I'll probably do it in about 2 documentaries time.
Yeah. 2 docs from now.
Maybe I might bump it up actually to the one after the next one.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive.
Maybe.
I have autism. I can't help it.
Now, I happen to know what the next documentary is going to be as well. You've secretly told me that. And I have to say that I am also very excited for the next doc, the non-Mersh doc. It's going to be, I hear, quite the doozy, and it's actually going to involve one of the people that was named in this document. I won't say who, but this is, well, that's what you told me. You said it was going to involve one of these guys, and you've been working on it for 6 or 7 months now. And that's the cool thing about Porsalin is he will wait until it is fucking ready to go. So I'm hoping, maybe I could get a little exclusive preview of that and maybe be the first to show that one on the show as well, too.
Oh, sure, definitely.
Okay, so mum's the word on who that is, but we'll play that one when Porsalin's ready. Now, Alan, you still there? Or did you fall asleep while listening to Sam?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. So you put out this video. It's Mersh filed a false police report to try to get myself and Jesse PS prosecuted. Let's take a look. This is Mersh roughly 7 months ago.
I want to make things perfectly clear here. And I swear this on God and all that is holy. I swear it on everything I hold dear. That in the 18 months that this man has harassed me, has harassed family members of mine, has harassed old colleagues of mine.
Old colleagues. Who would that
Royce?
even be? Well, the guy that had you fired from the strip club and then you sued for being racist? I mean, who is the old... Yeah, Royce. Old colleagues of mine. Who, Dutch? You guys know Dutch? Who does he mean, old colleagues? Doug Stanhope? Holy shit.
Bobo?
Yeah, Bobo.
Gomez.
Who?
Louis J. Gomez.
Louis J. Gomez. Yeah, old associate.
Has run live background checks on me on his paywall show.
Now, this is not true. Hang on, I got to go through these. That is not fucking true. I have not harassed his family. I have not harassed... I don't know who colleagues are. I forgot he was talking about me during all of this, so let me just defend myself a little bit.
Live background checks on me on his paywall show.
live background checks on you, number one, that's not a crime. If I were to do that, that would be very funny. But I've never done that. And you know why? Because I would never pay to do that. If somebody gave me a background check, I might check it out on the show. But that has literally never happened. And this is what I love about Mersh, is he'll just say a thing. And he thinks because it's in the pizza fund that nobody sees it. He's convinced. Look at these fucking bezels on this TV, you goddamn retard. Look at the side. I can't stop staring at him every time. I forget, he's brought the TV back on his show and he doesn't turn it on. It's broken. He's just got a broken TV behind him. But this is an old clip and you see that screen. Look how fucking thick the bezel is at the bottom there. What the hell is that? What is he storing remote controls inside there? So I just got to say, he thinks nobody watches the pizza. He thinks nobody's in there. He thinks I'm living with my parents. Mersh has never been in the pizza fund. He doesn't know what's going on in the pizza fund. None of his fucking audience is in the pizza fund providing him info. He's saying this to make it he's hoping that's true so that I feel like that maybe he knows stuff he's not supposed to know. And I'm supposed to sit here and shake in my booties about what he's got. Oh, he's got the docs on me. He can see my paywall content. Well, it's not true. I know everybody who's in the pizza fund. I can look all their info up. You don't want to be in there if you're giving this info to Mersh. Trust me. I will send Alan Powell to your house. Most of what Alan Powell does is he drives around from pizza funder to pizza funder and makes sure that they're not sharing content. You do not want a knock on your door from Captain Crunch Teeth. I'm telling you that right now. This dude, I've seen him leave bite marks on people that look like a jigsaw puzzle. It's terrifying.
Yep. If I find out you're sharing information, I will murder you.
Exactly. Alan, are you in the pizza fund?
Yes.
Porsalin, are you in the pizza fund?
Yeah.
Well, there's two right there, Mersh. There's two right there. So he thinks there's nobody in there. If I just say there's only 10 people in there, then who knows? Who knows what's going on in there? Maybe there's live murders going on in the pizza fund. Meanwhile, you want to know what's actually going on in the pizza fund, and Alan and Porsalin can confirm this? I just do a show on how much poop comes out of Mersh's butt. I had a whole show where I asked a doctor the consistency of Mersh's poops. Live background checks. Are you kidding me? The pizza fund is about one thing and one thing only, and it's a man's poops.
Where he has given.
And can we just take, I know I need to keep playing this, but can we please take a second to look at Mersh's headphones? I do this every time, but this might be the most insane they've looked in any clip. They aren't just hanging off his head. They're like flying away. What is happening? You see that, right? You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it looks like a Saint Bernard.
There's space.
They're below his ears.
Forget below his ears. Why? Yeah, they're like a dog's ears hanging off like a Saint Bernard. This blue space here, that's the headphone back there. Why is it?
You must be getting such a tinny sound.
I have never seen headphones do that in my life. In any scenario, you could put them on a child's head and they wouldn't do that. What the fuck is that? Seriously, look at this.
I want to make things perfectly
Equipment is
clear.
too much for him to manage. Microphones all fucked up, headphones fucked up.
Well, he loves pointing that microphone at his crotch. He does not want to talk into that microphone.
And I swear.
And look at you know what? Hang on a second. Fuck him. Let's look at those teeth.
I want to make things perfectly clear here. And I
you showed a little too much. Oh boy,
There we
Mersh. Who's Captain Crunch? Who is he again?
Use no.
You look like fucking Beethoven right now. What is going on with these headphones? I can't get over it. I really cannot get over the headphones. It is psycho. For the audio-only people out there, do yourselves a favor. Tune into the video for at least this one part, okay? Mark the timestamp and look at this shit because you're not imagining it properly. You couldn't. You've never seen this before.
It can't be that expensive for new headphones, surely.
Forget new head. if this is happening to your head, you have like tiny head. You're a water head. You're one of those shrunken head people. You have encephalitis or something. What is that shit called? Where you're Beetlejuice? I mean, what the fuck is this? I've seen Mersh in real life. I don't remember his head being too small. But are these just the world's biggest earphones? Like, for instance, my head is huge. It's really big. Well, and wearing headphones for a long time hurts my ears. I don't know if this, does that happen to you guys where you wear headphones for like an hour and your head hurts from it?
Well, I was just going to say, if you look at the top right of the headphone, you can see that there's like, that they've been extended to make them even lower.
I think he's been rage quitting so much, like throwing them off, that they've worked permanently.
He could shorten them and have the headphones at least covering the ears.
Yeah, you're right.
Somewhat better than it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've brought out the Telestrator. This is something Millhip now copies from me, the Telestrator. Porsalin's right. He has extended them. Now, I have to extend mine. Mine are extended because my head is big, and it fucking hurts my head, and I try to make them as loose as possible, but not to the point where they're falling off. But let me just, if you're not seeing what I'm seeing, let me just trace the headphone here for you, and tell me if you've ever in your life seen anything like this, where the headphone, it's not just below his ear, it's not just too low, it is sticking out. Oops, that's a little far, but not much. It's sticking out from the head. If we come in here and we do this, now he's Beethoven, okay? This is a dog. Woof, woof. Look at those teeth. That's horrifying. And, of course, then you've got the eyeballs. One of them's looking over here. The other one's looking over here. The only thing that could make this any worse is if he wasn't wearing the stupid hat from his sponsor, which I guess that fell through when nobody fucking bought it because most of your audience is fake. If he wasn't wearing this hat, keep in mind what his head would actually look like. We would have this, and then we would have the Sprout from Super Mario Brothers 2 up here. That's all you'd have.
It looks like a Beach Artist character drawing.
Yeah, it does. He looks like he looks like a background character from Ren and Stimpy. What is going on? This isn't normal.
Two stupid dogs.
It's two stupid dogs. And just like two stupid dogs, you got Mersh and Royce, the thin one and the big one, except the thin one is also big and fat and nobody realized it. Sorry, Blues Doll. You made Mr. Bally Song. You made your drawings too thin. You have to go back. I demand that all of Mersh's fans who have drawn fan art of him have to go back and take their skinny Mersh drawings and make them fat. I refuse to allow them to stay skinny. It's not right. It doesn't even look like him. Fucking.
Have you seen the detective one of him leaning up against the wall?
Oh yeah, of course. He's
the
so
long
thin.
Matrix coat.
He's so thin in that one. Fucking 3D Al had to go back. 3D Al made those little dancing Mershes, and you got this one here.
Yeah. For some hot, steamy fun.
There you go.
Try. All right, you ready?
And he was smart enough. He was smart enough that he went back and he was like, "Oh, I made Grifting Queen," and he was like, "No, we need an accurate Mersh for this one." He went back to the drawing board. He made Mersh fatter. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing. Sorry, Grifting Queen fans, but you can't have the whole thing. I've actually seen it. 3D Al went back a third time and made Mersh even fatter for another video. They should all be forced to do that. It should be a crime to draw a guy so thin when he's that fat.
Swear this on God and all that is holy.
So it means nothing to him. He's going to go and spit on Stephanie Phelps or whatever her name is.
Swear it on everything I hold dear that in the 18 months.
What does Mersh hold dear? The keys to his BMW?
Funny that he's swearing on all things holy and at the same time going to satanic weddings and stuff like that.
This is a man who held a flaming sword. Nothing has ever been holy in Mersh's life except his underwear.
That this man has harassed me, has harassed family members of mine.
Not true. I called his sister publicly on a show. You want to see the harassment? I called her. She didn't answer. That's how the show went down. I called her. You know why I called her? She's a ghost hunter. It was probably a year ago on Awfulween. I called her to see if I could get ghost hunting help. Of course, now what I didn't tell her, what I never got the chance to say to her was the help I needed with a ghost was that it was a bone munching ghost.
Oh my God, I have bonitis.
All other bone fragments in the future,
Bones
please,
to make us feel
I just
good.
need 8.
So maybe there was a little bit of something there, but she put her phone number out in order for you. The whole reason I had it was because she puts her number out there so that you can get her services as a ghost hunter.
Has harassed old colleagues of mine.
Again, not a thing. Is he repeating himself or did I go back too far? Because either one could be true.
I think he's repeating.
I think he's repeating himself.
Has run live background checks on me on his.
Oh no! I just went back. Okay, that's how crazy it is with Mersh. Is we weren't sure. That could have just been him saying it twice.
Paywall show.
Not true.
Where he has given out addresses I've lived.
Not true.
Where he is,
at that point, that wasn't true. I did end up doing that, but it was already public information.
Implied that, obviously for people to swat me, and
I implied for people to. What implication is that? Hey, this guy would love.
I thought I was the one that swatted him.
This guy would love to see the police at any day, any time of day, right? Don't you guys think Mersh deserves to get to meet a police officer? I don't know if you heard this. Mersh is a big fan of riot shields. It's just what I heard. I don't know. But if you want to do something nice and by the way, let's say I was implying that. Let's think who on earth would hear that and then actually do it. I don't think it's anybody from my audience, but I have a feeling that maybe if I were to say, like, did you know that Mersh loves surprise visits from police? The only person calling up the police then is Zen Rhino. He's the only guy that would fall for that. So that's on you, man. That's not me. That's on you.
Also, he doesn't need our help to meet police officers or contact them. I mean, he's doing pretty well on his own.
That's true.
4, 2.
Hey, you're the one with mug shots, Mersh. Hey, how about you go fund yourself for a new Beamer?
Harass me in real life. A guy that drove all the way to Ethan Ralph's house to be a fucking creep.
So again, yeah, that somehow. Sorry, hey Mersh, I'm so sorry I drove to Ethan Ralph's house. I know that must have really pained you when I went to Virginia to a different guy's house. Ethan doesn't like you, Mersh. When are you going to wake up and realize you're not in the circle?
What else?
Except the 5th circle, of course.
What else has he done? He has the doxing thing is mostly the most egregious one, but
right, and then he doxes himself.
The truth is that this guy.
By the way, I just saw that Alan has my name in the title as Jesse Rape PS. So thank you for doing that. My friends call me Pod.
Has been harassing me for 18
Ooh, wait, hang on.
Teeth.
Let's go back. I think we know why Alan zoomed in on this part. Yeah.
God, look at that.
That looks like a fucking graveyard. Holy shit. This is where teeth go to fucking die. That is incredible. Dead tooth. I'm telling
Looks
you.
like he chews on wires.
I'm telling you, go into his chat tomorrow. Dead tooth, dead tooth, dead tooth. Get spooky. It's Halloween time, man. Start chanting dead tooth. They say that if you say in the Nightwave chat dead tooth 3 times, the teeth will appear under your pillow that night, and they'll actually pull out your own teeth. They'll replace your teeth with them.
Months. And at any point, even in the doxing ones and all that shit, at any point, I could have flagged his channel.
Yeah, he could have. Or he could have told the cops about me, or, any point. He could have done that.
Point.
But he would never.
So
he'd never do something like that.
Extremely dishonest or stupid to believe that after 18 months of
Yes, Mersh, tell us what is extremely dishonest and stupid. I'd love to know.
pretty much some of the worst harassment I've ever experienced in my life. An obsessive.
By the way, thank you.
Did I cross swords with this guy at some point?
So let's just be clear here. Again, this is no knock on my esteemed guests here tonight. I love Alan Powell. I love Porsalin. But here's the pecking order, guys. It's me at the top. I think then it's Porsalin according to the letter. Then it's Alan Powell. And then it's all the also rans. Okay? Everybody else
Well, I
is
don't even
under
know
us.
why I'm so high.
Because
Like,
I
You broke his
tweeted
heart.
a couple of times.
You broke his heart.
maybe, but-
It's two things. You broke his heart. It was one of his first big public breakups, and you know Mersh loves comparing the people who make fun of him to ex-girlfriends. So this is a sexual thing in his mind. You are his ex-girlfriend. It's not us saying that about him. It's him saying that about us. And if I recall correctly, it was sometime around this period where Mersh one time said on camera that he would like to have sex with me and he would like to rape me. These are real quotes by Mersh. He said that between me and Blair White, he thinks most dudes would rather fuck me, Jesse, the greatest rape guy. So, call me Pod. Call me Bullets. So, I don't know what's going on swirling around in his head, Porsalin. But I have a feeling that the reason you're so high up on the list, it's obvious why I'm high up on the list. Nobody's working harder. Nobody's working harder at making Mersh look dumb than me. Because you don't have to work this hard. I'm putting in extra effort. There's no reason to be doing it this hard. You can just play a Mersh video. Fucking, you know who really hurt Mersh? Who wasn't around doing this stuff back then to be included? Pretty Dick 69. Now, there's rumors that Pretty Dick 69 is one of the old school Mersh fans. I don't know. A name you would recognize.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's a name you would recognize. I don't know if that's true or not. I've talked to him many times. He's kind of disappeared from the community because Mersh got his channel taken down. That is incredible. It is incredible that Mersh did this because, number one, it proves that Mersh is willing to do that shit. But what's so psycho about it is all the guy did was upload 5 to 10 minute clips of Mersh speaking, which means it is so easy to make fun of Mersh that all you have to do is post Mersh talking. That's it. Mersh is not self-aware, but he's aware enough to realize that the things he says are so dumb that they look bad outside of the context of a show. That the second you take away the stupid 5-minute long Nightwave intro, you no longer have the buffer zone of the White Knights, the Gunt Guards there to go, okay, no, you don't understand. This was a joke. No, Mersh is not stupid for saying this. Pretty Dick 69 made fun of Mersh and made him cry by putting new titles on clips. If A.G. Luck had put out the exact same clips on a channel and just called it Mersh Clips, and every title was Mersh being fucking awesome, that channel would be up. It would be the same clips, the same stuff said, and the channel would be up. But Pretty Dick 69 would go, here's Mersh being retarded again. And Mersh had his channel taken down. So Porsalin, why are you so high on the list? You didn't have to work hard at it. You didn't do anything, really. You associated with me a little bit afterward, which probably didn't help. But the real answer is because he looks at you as an e-celeb, and you are an e-celeb who has been willing to say bad things about Mersh. That's it. You have joked on him, and that's all it takes. You are in the Mersh effect, or you are destroying his life. Those are the only choices. And like you said before, it was the betrayal. You betrayed him. You are the Anakin to his Obi-Wan, or the Obi-Wan to his Anakin. I don't know which way that goes. But he is so hurt by you. He's not hurt by Alan Powell. He is scared of Alan Powell because the man is frightening. It is a terrifying thought to know that Alan Powell could show up at any minute. If he did it to Owen Benjamin, he might do it to Owen Benjamin too. That's what he's afraid of there. He's not afraid of me. That's why he was willing to finally just dox himself on air. He knows I'm just joking around, but he's the most embarrassed by me. But nothing got to his heart the way Porsalin did. It's sad, man.
I feel like that's a little overblown. I don't think we were like really even that tight, to be honest.
That's not the way Mersh's brain works. This is a man who's on pills. He's on drugs constantly. He's drunk.
That's why he called you middle of the road, because you wouldn't come to his side.
Exactly. That's what made you middle of the road. It's Nerf or nothing. And Mersh's brain is made of Nerf.
Mersh or nothing.
It's Mersh or nothing. Somebody make the Photoshop, post it to r/Mersh, okay? You're allowed to do it. You don't even have to credit us. So it's Mersh or nothing. His brain is made of Nerf. You're with him or against him, Porsalin. You broke his heart. You broke his heart. That's all there is. Let me say that again. You broke his heart. That was Mersh style. I'm repeating it one more time. You broke his heart. I'm sorry. That's just the way he operates.
Psychotic, bizarre little bug man who has...
I am not a bug man. Especially compared to Mersh. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm funnier than you. I'm cooler than you. I'm married. I have children. I have multiple kids. I have lived in my own place for the past 12 years. I haven't lived with my sister and a strange Cuban man for the past 12 years. Which one of us is the bug man there? What does bug man mean? Is that like a soy boy? I don't know what that is. Isn't that one of
I think it's is it similar to like Bug Chaser or?
Whoa, hey, Porsalin, come on. You said, come on. What am I, his cat?
Dedicated every moment of his fucking waking time on this planet into fucking with me.
Again, no one has to dedicate time to this. It's like Alan said. You do it to yourself. It's easy. We don't have to do anything.
And in 18 months, I have never flagged.
And by the way, in the chat room, please call me big. Describe how big I am, how large I am. Describe that I'm looking even huger than before. And then, of course, here is the turn. Alan on piccolo. Holy shit. I don't know if anybody else just heard that, but whoever recorded this Curb cover, you can hear a goon alarm go off in the background. There is a smoke detector. Listen to this. There it was. Did you hear that?
Chirping.
Little chirp.
A little chirp. So even they knew this would be used against one of the internet's biggest lol cows. Okay. All right, I think we get that.
Now, for 18 months, my hand...
How many months? Does anybody remember how many months Mersh was being destroyed by me? Because I can't remember. What is it, 12?
You said November 2019, was it?
Well, I haven't heard him.
Yeah, that's about it.
I can't remember because I haven't heard him say how many months it was.
For 18 months.
Wait, what was it?
My hand to God, I have never...
hand to God.
Reported Jesse, Pot Awful, any of his dumb videos, any of the gay hip star stuff, all the Philip Wave and the Ian
By the
Ellises
way, poor fucking hipstar. Mill Hip sitting there. He ain't on the list. He ain't in the party. He's not even on the totem pole. He must be so upset. Friday night. Oh my God. He's gonna have such a spurg out about this. He's gonna make a totem pole. He's gonna steal some of my graphics. It's gonna be really sad. But buddy, you aren't on the list. Even Ian Ellis got on the list.
Millhip already streamed about this as well, didn't he? I'm pretty sure
did he? You're watching Millhip? I didn't see it. I don't know. I'm not keeping up on Millhip, but hey, that's pretty cool. A little feather in his cap there, Porsalin. He now knows you're watching.
Here it is. The FBI is coming for me, and he definitely has the email up on screen at some part.
Of course he did. Well, listen, you know what? I shouldn't have done this episode then. People have probably been People have probably been dying for the take from the guy who had nothing to do with any of this, who was never considered in any of this, never made a fucking dent. No, to be fair to him, completely fair to Gay Millhip. In what was it, April of 2020, he was still part of the Mersh effect, so it would be a little bit hard for him to be making fun of Mersh at that time.
Hard Ray is in here. So great to be here. And now, oh, what is this? We have a black man. We have a black man in the chat right now. This is the first time for Drunk Sports.
Yeah, what's good, nigga?
Oh, wow. Look at that.
What's good?
Congratulations. I just got porn on my show. Yeah, that's good. I deserve that, so. And now, the biggest fail of that is definitely the moment we just saw, but
poor guy, he's never going to be in the club.
These other guys, for 18 months, not one.
Wait, how long, Mersh?
One time have I flagged, nor have I encouraged people to flag.
So he'd never do it. Hashtag Mershgate, Alan's calling it. So use the hashtag Mershgate. All right. Well, how should we? Oh, you know what? There's one more thing I need from you guys, and then I know I've been keeping you here way longer than anybody ever intended, but Mersh did, especially Alan here. Mersh did flake out of doing Nightwave on Friday night in possibly the biggest bitch move I've ever seen. Alan, can you explain to people why that is, what happened? We talked about it a little bit before, but I'd like to touch on that a little bit more here.
Yeah, and in Adonis Paul's chat, he was, going with his normal, this guy tried to swat me and all that. And Mr. Yes offered up his Friday show to, provide the evidence and show the receipts.
Now, what does that mean? I don't know who I know who Adonis Paul is. He's like the closest capo of Mersh there is. He's like the top guy. It's very funny because whenever Mersh lists like the guys like him, guys like me, like Royce, he always goes like Adonis Paul, and then he can never think of anybody else. That's like his only guy now.
Tony Soprano.
Me, Royce, Adonis Paul, like the guys. All right, sorry. So who is Mr. Yes?
One of Adonis's mods. That's like a Mersh Effect guy.
Okay. And he's got his own fucking jabroni stream thing or what?
Most likely.
Okay.
But he was like, he's using the same Mersh lines just like JJ and all the other sycophants.
Right. And he was saying what now? That he would offer up something? What happened?
Yeah, that on Friday's show, Mersh would show proof that I tried to get him swatted and I doxed him and all that.
Wait, so this
and
guy,
I was like, okay.
This guy was speaking for. Oh, so he was just saying like, I bet Mersh is willing to prove it. He's got the balls to do it. This guy said.
Yeah, all the actual conversations up on Reddit, but yeah, he offered it up, and Mersh was right there, not saying like, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, I see. And he also didn't say like, I'm planning to not do the show tomorrow night. He just said nothing.
Exactly.
And so then on ROTC on Friday, Mersh did ROTC, and then this pre-planned bit. I wish I had it set up here. I don't have it. This pre-planned bit where you can tell Royce and Mersh talked about this ahead of time. And Royce turns to Mersh and says, they're ending the show, and he says, so there's no Nightwave tonight, right? And Mersh is like, yeah. And the excuse he gave was that his cat had to go to the vet in the morning, so he didn't want to stay up late. What time did the cat have to go to the vet, ladies and gentlemen? Well, of course, 10 a.m. So how could he possibly get himself together in time? I mean, geez, he'd only have, let's see, if he started Nightwave at 10 p.m., and ended it at midnight, man, he'd only have 8 hours of sleep, an hour to get ready, and an hour to get to the vet. That's not enough time. That's not enough
Correction
time.
There.
Go ahead.
He actually said that he has to be up by 10 a.m. to make his appointment. So his appointment was probably at noon, maybe 1, 2 p.m.
Right. And so the whole thing is based on this idea that he's got to take his cat in for AIDS or whatever. And Royce, now I've seen people talk about this. Royce pokes fun at him and says, so you can't get up. But it was so, don't fucking stop thinking Royce is on your side. Stop thinking that Royce is never actually making fun of Mersh. Royce likes Mersh. This was pre-planned. They talked about it already. He had already behind the scenes said like, okay, well, what am I going to say about this? Because you know what they're going to say in the chat about it. Royce was doing the digging to get at it before you. It's like when Mersh says, I'm bald, I'm fat. You know, he's always doing the...
I know I'm fat. I know I'm a drunk. And I know I'm retarded.
As if that means you don't get to say that about him. As if he got to it before you, so it's not true anymore. That's all that was. It was a show. So he doesn't do Nightwave. So he can't possibly be asked about the FOIA. He can't possibly talk about it. He can't prove it. He didn't say shit about it when Alan brought it up or Mr. Yes brought it up in the chat. And then what happens? Mersh not only does not get the cat to the vet on time, but it turns out he did not have an appointment. He got there.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, he tweeted about this. He tweeted and said, I didn't get the cat there in time, and they didn't have an appointment ready for it. And so I'm leaving my cat at the vet all weekend, and then I'll come pick him up on Monday after they've done whatever the procedure is, got it neutered or whatever. So he is leaving his cat there overnight just because he doesn't feel like driving there again on Monday.
And that means he's not going to do ROTC on Monday because he's got to, he's probably going to go pick it up right when he has to do ROTC.
And oops, I can't do Nightwave either because I was out all day. Oh, this thing happened with my cat. You ever notice that every single time Mersh has to do anything, not only does it happen during the hours of ROTC and Nightwave, but it also, it is something bad happens. It's always the company screwing him over. He has never once been through a single transactional event where the other person made good on the transaction. Ashley Home Furniture didn't deliver his stuff properly. The vet didn't neuter his cat right. The tire.
I don't think he actually ever had an appointment.
No, he didn't.
I don't think he ever had an appointment.
He didn't.
I've never seen a vet that does those surgeries on the weekend.
They don't. The tire place they fucked up his tires or did whatever. Every single time this stuff happens. Now, when you get kicked out of 109 countries, eventually it's you. You know what I'm saying, Mersh? Porsalin, it sounded like you were about to say something. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, the moment's gone.
Okay, fair enough. So this is how much of a bitch he is. He is running from this. He doesn't want you remembering it. He's hoping by Tuesday this will all blow over. I mean, Mersh, the fucking Baked Alaska thing didn't blow. Like, I wasn't doing a show for 3 months, 2 or 3 months, and I came back and still did the Baked Alaska thing. This is never going to blow over for you. This is it. It's over for you. And, of course,
it's proof that it's real.
And why is he scared? Because somebody in his chat on Thursday night brought it up, and here was his reaction to that.
All night, and I gotta bonk you, man. I don't know what you're doing. You send a letter. By the way, stop speaking like you're fucking from a third world shithole. You send a letter to police about Jesse. What?
Yeah, he left out one word by accident, and now and by the way, Russia is your third world shithole. That's your idea of the third world is Russia. That was the best you could come up with in that moment. This is all coming from the guy who, if he were a bettering man, he would have put money on this dude being a pot awful guy.
I'm writing letters.
So this is what Mersh does. This is his tactic. Don't focus on the meat of it. By the way, that's my steak. Don't focus on the meat of the situation. Focus on one weird little thing about what the person said that you can say isn't true. So it's not, oh, you didn't write a letter. Well, you did, because an email is a letter. Or do they not get sent to your mailbox?
I'm popping on my fucking typewriter. Ding, 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 ding.
And here we go. We're going to hear this for the rest of the episode. He found a sound effect. And every time he finds a sound effect, it's going to be over and over and over. And the brilliant thing about this is he's telling another guy that he types funny, but Mersh doesn't know how a typewriter works because it's not ding, 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 ding. It's ding, ding, bing, 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 bing. You can't go until the bing happens, and you got to go to the next line. Mersh doesn't even know what that sound is. He thinks he heard a typewriter one time in a cartoon. He's trying his best here. He's in panic mode. He's in full-on panic mode because this guy's saying he's sending letters to cops.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm firing off letters to fucking G. Gordon Liddy.
That's not who he means. Why would you send a letter to G. Gordon Liddy? He's fucking up his jokes.
To try to get...
And by the way, no, you're not. You're not firing off letters to G. Gordon Liddy or even J. Edgar Hoover, who you actually meant. You're firing off letters, dink, 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 to Detective Tiffany Dobbins. Dear dink, 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 Tiffany, bink, 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 the big bad ding. Internet men, dink, 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 were mean to me, dink, 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 ding.
He's taken care of. What are you talking about?
You know what he's talking about. You're scared of what he's talking about. Do a fucking night wave and talk about it.
Oh, you've been doing that thing.
You're being weird. You know, weird. You're being weird.
I'll follow dudes back if they have a cute guy. You've been doing that gay thing where you keep trying to be cute, but you keep mentioning...
Being cute.
I'll follow dudes back if they have a cute guy. See, you guys are kind of broken people. You always...
Oh, yeah? Are they broken people? Why don't you tell that to your diary, Mersh? A dink, 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 dink.
Do the same shit.
Yeah, don't... Guys, people who do the same shit over and over and over again are so stupid, aren't they? Aren't they
people
dumb?
repeat themselves.
Yeah, when people repeat themselves, don't you just hate that shit?
Over and over again. And then you think I don't notice it, but it's like...
But anyway, dink, 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 dink. Oh!
Notice what you're doing. You fucking... Hello, you...
All right, here we go. So it's not even just the typewriter. He dips back into the well of doing the Russian accent, which didn't make sense the first time, but he's in panic mode. He doesn't know what else to do. In this instance, he can't say this guy lives with his mom and dad. He's not sure. So instead, what does he have? Oh, fuck. Oh, you left out one word.
Write letter to police about the Jesse.
Did he say Jesse? Did he say
He's
that?
turned into full-blown, like, panic Robin Williams on stage mode right now, where he's just throwing accents out and props and bloody gestures and shit.
Oh my God, Jesse made fun of me. Oh, I'm a gay sailor. Oh, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, ding, ding.
Oh my God, oh my God.
Ding, ding, ding.
Here we go. Oh, man, I hate it when people repeat stuff. It's so annoying. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes. Yes, the only way to write a letter for the past, I don't know, 1 million years has been a typewriter. There's no other way. Why not a quill and a scroll? Wink, 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 wink. What there's just no sound effects for that. That's why he picked a typewriter, because you can't make the sound of a quill.
You forget, though, this is, to the Mersh Effect people like Zen Rhino and Arnold Nicotina, this is like jingling your keys in front of a dog or something.
Oh my God, you're so right. Fuck.
They respond to the sound, and they're just like, oh, funny, happy sound, nothing's happening.
Fucking Arnold Nicotina is sitting there with dirt on his face. Here's $15, Daddy. Big Dick Daddy.
I'm always going to be Big Dick Daddy.
Ding, 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 ding. I guarantee you, too, some of those guys, they then do those things in their like private life. They find a way to work that in. That's the saddest part. And they're fucking Arnold Nicotina, by the way, is on screen right there. So if you think we're just picking random names out of a hat, there he is. Actor and manslaughterer Alec Baldwin, says Arnold Nicotina in there. So he's not even, you know what? Unfortunately, Porsalin, Arnold Nicotina is so stupid, he ain't even listening to Mersh. He's on his own thing right now. He's talking. He doesn't know who G. Gordon Liddy is, so his brain tuned out. He can't even pay attention to the keys jangling. He's looking at Twitter. This is a guy who's jumping ahead of Mersh's show bulletin. Like, what does he call it? Show prep. He's jumping ahead of the show prep by just checking Twitter himself. He's like, I need to know what's happening on Nightwave tonight. Scrubbing his face.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Typing on a typewriter. What am I? A fucking queer? What am I, gay? You think I'm sitting there going, oh, dink, 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 dink. That's not even the direction it fucking goes.
I'm writing letters.
Yeah, we know. We heard you. We heard you, Mersh. I get it. The letters bit. You're Carlin. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You're a regular Louis C.K. with this stuff. How do you do it? Is this one of those things they call an act out? Is this one of your stand-up bits? Did you go to stand-up school?
Was this on Killjoy?
Yeah, he was writing the letter to his sister asking to sleep on her couch. Dink, 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 dink. Dear GoFundMe, please give me money. Dink, 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 dink. Oh, oops, I fucked up again. I have no money and I crashed my car for a second time. Dink, 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 dink. That night, Mersh actually did that so many times in this episode that night he was typing on his keyboard. He was like responding to a Spurg on Twitter. And at the end of the sentence, he accidentally just knocked his fucking monitor off of his desk.
Bureau of Federal Investigations.
Yeah, that's what it's called. The BFI. Fuck you, fucking retard. You sweaty idiot. The Bureau of Federal Investigations.
Why am I not remembering it?
Is this what the fuck? All right, hang on.
Why am I not remembering his name right now? The cross-dresser, the guy.
This is how Mersh thinks of reality. He was trying to think. He was trying to think of
J. Edgar Hoover. That's
J. Edgar Hoover. And what's the only thing that comes to mind when it comes to J. Edgar? The cross-dresser guy. You know.
I'll follow dudes back if they have a cute guy.
The cross-dresser guy.
J. Edgar Hoover, famous for being the cross-dresser guy.
I mean,
and only that.
I mean, true. Yes, sure. But that's the way your brain works. That's your first thought. That's how you arrive. And that's how he had to do that. That was like a mnemonic device for him. He had to go he had to go BFI, cross-dressing. Right, J. Edgar Hoover. Got it. Dink, 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 dink. Oh, look at me. I am a Mersh. I like a cross-dress guy. What am I, a fucking typewriter, man?
What I meant to say, actually, was I'm firing off a letter to J. Edgar Hoover about...
You just said that. You just said that. I didn't go back. He's saying it again.
Fucking, what are you talking about?
Why? This is my favorite part. He ends it by saying, let's listen to that one more time.
Fucking, what are you talking about?
Why do you talking about? Oh, why do you talking about? In America, typewriter type you. Dink, 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 dink. Oh, why do you talking about? Mersh is so upset. He's on pins and needles here. He's backed into a fucking corner. He doesn't know what to do. He knows he's found out. Watch him recoil. Mersh had no idea this was fucking coming for him. We didn't know. We didn't know about this. He thought he was safe. It's been over a fucking year. And this shit shows up into his life again at the worst possible time. Podawful's back on the internet. He knows what this is going to do. He knows Porsalin and Alan are in the fucking Discord. He knows we're going to be talking about this. He knows we're going to be sharing it. He must have seen it on Twitter by now. And Rhino is definitely emailing him about it from a fucking fake account called Scandal McKinsey.
I just like that he spent all that time stalling and repeating himself, hoping some spark would show up in his brain.
And nothing.
And then all he could end with is, what are you talking about? Or what did he say? Why are you talking about?
Oh, Porcelain, he said...
Fucking, what are you talking about?
Why do you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Put it on a t-shirt.
So,
I want that on a
the funny thing is as well, is that this whole like tirade of his pretty much started because the guy missed a word. The guy that... and yet he made 2 linguistic fuck-ups himself that were way worse.
Of course he did, because Mersh is your finest projectionist. He's the guy sitting back there making sure you can see Transformers Revenge of the Fallen and you're not missing a single frame. You can see everything Optimus Prime is up to on that screen. Hang on, my computer is literally about to fucking freeze from the amount of space being used right now. Hang on one second. Okay, I don't even know. Let me move some of this stuff real quick. Yeah, I want a fucking t-shirt of Mersh saying, it's just his face, and then underneath it says, "Why do you even talking about?" It's like what's the guy from Mad Magazine? Alfred E. Newman. It's just him pointing at himself with his, instead of the big ears, the fucking headphones melting off his head like a Salvador Dali Persistence of Memory painting. And he's just going, "Why do you even talking about?" Instead of "what me worry?" "Why do you even talking about?" What an idiot. Okay. Well, we don't need to relitigate it. Mersh dumb. That's it. Mersh dumb, Mersh liar. That's the whole thing. Mersh dumb, Mersh liar, Mersh report internet to police. Mersh want internet arrested for make joke. Dick Masterson went out to the protest against Netflix. And he held up a sign. It said, "Jokes are funny," or "We like jokes," or something like that. They all like them. They all like the jokes until they are the joke. Dick, fucking Mersh, Ethan Ralph, all these guys love the free speech and love the humor until it's on them. Now, if I was standing there at that same protest with a sign that said Dick Masterson is a simp, and then it had all of his text messages with the girl he flew out to Texas to be with, he probably wouldn't find jokes so funny after that. Mersh ain't a liar. Hand to God, he'd never report anybody except me, Porsalin, Alan Powell, David Walsh, Thomas Daly, and Ian Ellis. And not to just anybody, but also the police. That's the fucking tweet. If you guys have to go, then feel free to leave. I'm going to end on one last thing here. And it's just a quick update. This is from a recent episode. We had Mersh, the cat lady episode. Mersh recently tweeted out, he said, "You should follow Mersh's cat on Instagram. I want him to have more followers than all of Mersh's dick writers have combined." And then he links to, and I love this, he tried to say this was not a cat Instagram for clout, and he called it Louis Naps. His cat's name is Louis. He called it Louis Naps NW. The NW being for Nightwave. So he just needed to get that in there. He had to let you know, this is the Nightwave cat. As most people looked at that, they had no clue what it meant. So here it is. The Instagram that he is using to show his haters who's boss. By the way, Porcelain, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
Let me check. One sec.
Okay, let's take a look here. Alan, do you know how many subs you have? Are you still here?
1,030.
1,030.
43.1.
I'm just under Alan there, I think, right now. And of course, before I was terminated, I was at 10.5. 41 Porcelain, you said?
Sorry, 43.1.
43.1. Okay. And then if we want to add in all the other haters, Hipstar, all those, I guess we can just add like 2, 3, 4. So, okay. Let's call it 50,000. All he has to do is get 50,000 followers to show all his haters. And how many does he have on this Instagram? For his cat, 252. Now, the whole reason he did this, it's respectable. Come on, give it to him. But problem is, the whole reason he did this
for a celebrity cat.
For a celebrity cat. The whole reason he did this, though, was because he was in a fight with a woman with a cat Instagram. Her name was Eliana, and it turned out she wasn't real. Turned out she was just me. So that Instagram is called Momo and Ichi. And how many followers does this fake Instagram have that is now half pictures of a cat and half silly pictures of Mersh? Why, it has 743 followers.
Wait, that's more than Mersh's cat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually way more than Mersh's cat. You would think a guy with thousands of followers on YouTube, with 1,000 people watching him live, and all of them are definitely real, even though the participants list always says there's about 34 people in there when watching it live. The only people chatting, there's only 34 people chatting out of 600 to 1,000 people watching live. Very strange. Somehow he could only pull 252, but hey, you gotta die laughing. It's the last middle finger you can give to the world. Am I right, people? and to quote Mersh, and here's Mersh in one of the greatest photos he ever took of himself with his big titties. This is an old picture, too, so he's had them titties for a while. And, of course, he couldn't break Eliana's follower count. This is killing him. He hates this. Just one more time here, 743 to 200. Wow. And 52. It ain't even fucking close, Mersh. Now, what are you gonna do? The ball's in your court, Mersh. Are you going to have Royce pay for followers? Are you that petty? Do you think you can really top the pettiness of Pod Awful? Do you think you can really do it? Or are you going to do what I think you might actually do at this point and call the cops to tell them that a kitty Instagram has more than yours? Dead Tooth in his chat room the next time he's brave enough to go live. Porsalin, Alan, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. Really do appreciate it.
No problem.
Alan, are you alive? The guy fucking drove into a tree, unfortunately. It was bound to happen eventually.
I might consider that.
Oh, okay. There we go. He's still here. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it. And do you guys want to plug anything before we go here?
No, not really. Nothing to plug.
Alan?
Yeah. People know where to find me. My address.
No fixed address. Okay, creepy. Yeah, and I would just like to plug Sam Whitfield's show, The Whitfield Report. Why are you laughing at that, Porcelain? What the fuck?
I was just reminding myself some of the comments.
He came in here. We're going to be live. All right, thank you, guys. We're going to be live in the Pizza Fund right after this for all the stuff we couldn't get to during this episode and the hate mail segment from tonight's show. I've got so much hate mail. I got so many things. I'd love to go over it with you, and you can join me in the Hangout. $6 level, join at podawful.pizza. You get all of our after shows, all of the old hangout shows, and in the dollar section, which is included with it, we are uploading all of the shows that have been taken down from YouTube. I keep getting emails from people saying, where are the archives? I have to upload every single episode by hand individually. All the information. I have to find the episodes. Like some of them are lost. Some of them aren't titled properly. I have to reconnect their thumbnails, the whole thing. So it's taking a while. It's taking a long time. It's going to take a while. We're slowly getting it all together until we find a better way to do this. But I want you to know the stuff is going to be in there. And right now, it's $1. This is why I'm putting in the dollar section. For $1, the archives, it's still a bunch of content in there. So don't worry if you're looking for a little extra, if you're looking for a little more. The higher levels do have more content, but if you're just looking for those old episodes, feel free to shoot me a message. I have people doing this and saying, hey, man, I want to see this episode. Could you get this episode to me? Could you put this episode on the Pizza Fund? And I will try to make it happen. If I've got the episode, if I can find it, if I can get all the info, I'll put it up there for you. That's how simple it is. $1 level for the archives, $6 level for the after show. $12 level for the premium shows. I fucking forgot. That's not good. And what the hell? What did I just... Something just happened. That was strange. I don't know what that was. I was trying to open something else and something strange just happened. Okay, well, there you go. The show is now over, so let's end it. Let's end it big. Let's do a little fun something here. Let's end it with a song, shall we? I think we can do that. Yeah, here we go. Here's a little song by One Step Too Far. So we won't be playing this for too long. Here's a Mersh song. I hope to see you in the Pizza Fund, podawful.pizza, right after the show, podawful.pizza. And until next time, have an awful day.
What is inconvenient about the dynamic of our relationship? Like, literally, I do a show where I tell fucking jokes, and you get it for free, Jen. You freeloading bitch. I come every day at the same time, same place. I make it very convenient. I put on a very good show, a very consistent show, and I give it away for free. You freeloading bitch. Explain to me what is inconvenient about that. I come every day at the same freeloading bitch. You freeloading bitch. I come every day at the same time. You freeloading bitch. I come freeloading bitch. I come every day at the same time, same place. You freeloading bitch. I come every day at the same time, same place. I make it very convenient. I put on a very good show. A very freeloading bitch. I do a show where I tell fucking jokes. You freeloading bitch. I do a show where I tell fucking jokes. You freeloading bitch.